How's it going, everybody? We're back already for another live stream. And in case you haven't noticed, some people have asked, where's this guy hanging out? And this time I have the door open. But you can see he's kind of just resting there. He's got a toy here. I'm not sure if he's gonna eventually pounce on it or play with it or whatever, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm back. I thought I was going to attempt to make a YouTube recording today, since I did find out that I am not needed for APA 8-Ball League tonight. But like you always hear me say from time to time, I'm off of work and I'm pretty tired. So I don't want to spend time recording clips and then spend hours upon hours editing them. So I figured at the very least, I do need to catch up on my APA league matches of my own games that I review, for myself and for everybody else to hopefully learn something, even for me to learn something in retrospect. I currently have four, but I'm only going to review two because it usually keeps the live stream at a pretty decent length. And then after I timestamp it and everything else, it should be reasonable to watch. So this should be pretty good. Couple of announcements. The winner of the J Flowers JF Force Break Queue did come forward. They did validate who they are, and so that prize is now claimed. Come to find out, I have to ship that queue to Italy. That's going to be pretty expensive. But I haven't had a chance to make it to the post office yet to go ahead and ship out the queue, but I am in communications with the winner. So hopefully here soon that they'll have their new break queue, and then we'll get to see maybe some pictures or some videos of them using it. And then second announcement, but we kind of already heard about this at the end of my last live stream. And that is, I am now officially, or I now have my first official sponsor, and that's the apparel line of Onboard Sportswear. And here's what my current design looks like. This is one of their jerseys. Gotta make sure you can see everything. So you can see it's all nice and red and black. Y'all know I like red and black. Red's actually my favorite color. So you can see here on the right pec and collar is the Onboard Sportswear logo. And then on the left pec here, and even on the left sleeve. See if I can hold this up right. There we go. So on the left pec and sleeve is my Lil Chris logo. And then here on the back, how cool is that? Right? The Onboard Sportswear, but my logo all nice and big for everybody to see. Now, currently, this design is not available on their website. Not yet. I'm hoping it's going to be available here soon. This is one of their jerseys, and I also have a jacket that looks very, very similar to this. The jacket is long sleeve versus the jersey is short sleeve. But if you do check out the pinned comment in the live chat, you'll notice that I now have a discount code. If you use the code LILCHRIS10, LILCHRIS in all caps, and then the number 10, you can get 10% off of their purchase if you go check out their merch store. And as soon as I find out that this design is publicly available, rest assured I will let all of y'all know, because I am super excited about that. Like I said, it's not this. This is an actual sponsorship. That's why I have to advertise them. I have to plug them. And actually, you know what? I need to go ahead and do this. This is the thing I love about live streaming, is I get to do some on-the-fly editing. Let's see here. Where is it? Where is it? It's right here. Bingo. There we go, right there. That has to stay up, so that way I can proudly represent my sponsors. This is the same company that makes the jerseys and jackets for the Mosconi Cup. The material is very nice. I actually wore the jersey, both me and my partner, when we did Jack and Jill Scotch doubles, and then when I did like 8-ball singles and stuff, I was wearing this at the Texas BCA state event. I'll be wearing this at any mid-level tournament that I might happen to go to when I go to the Texas State Open in Round Rock, Texas, sometime near Labor Day weekend. I'll be wearing the apparel, etc., etc. It's just too cool and too good to be true. Like I'm humbled and honored to finally have my first official sponsor. So this is super awesome. All right, let's see here. Okay, so the logo turned out better than I thought. I was actually editing it up for the stream here, and then when I actually switch to the scene where we actually view the APA match, I have to add that logo back up so it is viewable. Okay, let's see here. Let's see who's here. I last couple times I've done some live streams, I didn't say hi to everybody. Let's see. Loping CSF, good to see you. 100% Bow Hunter. Aaron McMillan. Cue ball control sometimes. How's it going? Anthony Weisenit. Bob Francis. Doug Simpson. Steve Miller. What's going on, Nate? Has anybody else done your looks like he's stretching out. You comfortable? Hey. Ugh. It's the shoestring that he likes to play with. Okay, at any rate. Nate, has anybody else done your Tyler Steyer draw shot challenge yet? Let's see. Eric Croft, good to see you. Steve Miller, Mike Coleman, my buddy Brian from Corner 4 Billiards. Uh-oh. See, are you going to be a distraction? Gee whiz. Ugh. If you're going to be too much of a distraction, you're not going to be allowed in here. Here, say hi to everybody. Oh, really? This is why I don't let you in here, because you're too much of a distraction. Yeah, go on. All right, let's see here. What else do we got here? Craig Downey, it's good to see you. Scooper JS, how's it going? Dusty Tables, Alfredo Flores, Raheem Carter, Dak Jeep, WDYV. I'm assuming VA stands for Virginia, maybe. Ken Silelli, I hope I said that correctly. Larry Canty, Pool Drills, or should I call you Mohamud from Australia? It's good to see you, bud. My buddy Tango Bravo Zulu, this is awesome. Good to see everybody here. So yeah, I do see though that I do have 65 viewers in here, but I've only got 17 likes. Y'all know how this works. Help me out here by giving this stream a thumbs up so that way the YouTube algorithm can hopefully pick it up. Hopefully more people can discover the live stream while it's going on, and then hopefully people can discover it after we're done. It really does help me out. I would really appreciate it. Woody, Virginia. Okay, so cool. I got that. I got part of it right with the at least the VA. Bob Francis, Zelda needs a jersey. I don't think they make jerseys that fit cats, especially this big guy. What? Okay. We'll see if he happens to start playing around. Here, let me try to. Here, give me this. Here, go get it. So that way everybody can watch you play. Okay, so as the title of the live stream says, we are here to review 2 of my APA 8-ball matches. These are from a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, I currently have a total of 4 of them, but I'm only going to review 2 now, and probably 2 later this week. Again, I'm not entirely sure. And then rest assured, I will eventually continue on with live streaming my straight pull high run attempts at trying to complete my Road to 100 series, as well as try to do some recorded content. Like today, I wanted to do a recorded video, but after I got off of work, I was just too tired. And this is easier to do. I get to just relax and just talk to everybody, and Goodness gracious. And this guy is a distraction. I was going to say, that's why last time I had the door shut and he wasn't allowed in here. But we're going to review these matches. So that way, hopefully, I can learn some new things about my matches or things that I could have done better in my match that hopefully will allow me to perform better the next time I play. It'll hopefully benefit y'all if y'all see that that you suffer any of the same issues that I suffer from during the matches, and whether or not if we can come to some sort of agreement or dialogue of like what I could have done to have performed better, and then of course anything that we could offer my opponent. So I always got to give my my hats off to my opponent that allow me to share these videos like this, so that way they can hopefully benefit from anything that I might happen to give them as well. So it's a lot of fun. All right, but let's go ahead and get started here. And anybody that was in the last live stream knows. Ta-da! I have a new scenery that I made, but because of my camera, I have to always change my camera around. So that way I fit actually here in the lower right corner. And like I said, I need to put this back up. Bam! How cool is that? So that's gonna always be up there in my videos there. Okay, so anybody that's new that didn't catch the last live stream that I did, I've got a new scenery here on how I review my APA matches. As you may have noticed up above me, the YouTube live chat is no longer there. I only kept it there at one point because I thought there would be points in time where I might actually clip out something from the live stream where I'm like answering a question that I think might be useful for it to be set out in its own video rather than buried into a live stream. And the more I found myself not doing that, then the more I started to notice that I didn't need the live chat because the live chat can always be on this side of the YouTube video whenever you happen to watch it in the replay. So after I timestamp everything, I can timestamp the question, and that way any viewers can watch the live chat over here, so that way they can have some sort of context. I still have the cue ball diagram here. I'll be doing my best to tell you when I use top spin, bottom spin, left spin, right spin, and everywhere in between. I can still draw on everything. At least I think I can draw on everything. Let's see here. Something's not working. Gotta love it when stuff doesn't work. Just a second. Aha! There we go. All right, so I can draw on my video. So, I'm going to be performing a lag here, trying to get my ball to hit this rail and come back and get as close to the rail that I'm shooting from. And whoever's the closest will be the first person to break. And then hopefully you noticed right around here, you've got this row of balls that I'm going to be trying to keep up with. That's going to tell you what balls are still on the table, as well as being able to just visibly see what balls are still on the table here. This is something new that I've added to my scorekeeping program. It's something that I just recently built. Actually, what I can do real quick, like I said, just in case anybody did not happen to catch the last live stream. Let's do this. And this. And where is it? This guy. There we go. And let's stick him in the center of the screen. Let's make him a little bit bigger so he's visible. And that. Okay. So you can see here that this is actually just a simpler program than what I was using before. The program that I was using before was built by somebody else. And I got it to work for the most part, but now this is just more intuitive to what my live streams basically look like. So you can see that I have my name here. If I were to just make some sort of update like this, then you can see that the names will actually update. There we go. And so if I were to change my opponent's name, that's what it were. As long as I update the scores here, you'll see the scores update on the screen. You'll see the number of innings update, and the number of dead balls that you see here, that's for when I eventually or hopefully eventually rejoin an APA 9-ball team, and I need to track the dead balls that are actually going to be in the game. Let's reset all the scores. And then you see this row of balls here. And all these checkboxes turn the balls on and off to be seen. So what will hopefully happen here is as balls get made, I'll be making them disappear, and then whoever makes the 8-ball first, then I will make the 8-ball disappear, and then when I'm ready to do a new rack, I will just reset the visibility, and boom, they all come back. And the reason why there's this green background here is because this little section that you see right here is this whole entire program. I've just cropped it down to where it's just that line of balls. You can't even see the check boxes and whatnot. And then I've filtered out the background color of the green so that way you can see everything that's actually behind the balls. So in other words, if I were to come over here on the pool balls and turn off the filter, then you should see the background. So that's what I've done there. So this is, like I said, my new program that I'll be using whenever I review my APA matches. Like I said, hopefully soon I'll be able to do some 9-ball as well. And yeah, the cool part is going to be, or actually the funny part is going to be whether or not if I can keep up with making sure that I turn the visibility of whatever balls are made on and off, as well as making sure I keep track of the innings. If y'all can recall the last couple of APA matches that I reviewed, I didn't track innings anymore because it was just so much involvement. But I'm going to try to do it again. And the more involved that I'm doing, besides just watching the match and trying to commentate, the more likely I'm going to screw up something and probably not remember what I'm doing, which I think is what makes this whole thing fun, right? This is like, I'm not only trying to be educational by at least giving my thoughts of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and then possibly giving some sort of retrospect on what I could have done versus what I did do, but also to be some form of entertainment so that way we can all laugh and just have a good time. All right, so in this matchup here, I am playing up against a skill level 5 who recently dropped from a skill level 6 at the time that we are playing, which is usually scary when that happens, because if he was still a skill level 6, it would be a race to 5-4. But at the point in time of our match, when he dropped down to a skill level 5, that's why you see that the race is my 5 to their 3. And whenever someone recently drops from their skill, from their latest skill, or from a higher skill level, yeah, that could be a little troublesome, and can make the match just a little bit more difficult. But nonetheless, I have to play. We have to see what's going to happen here. This is a good buddy of mine. Always just like this is on a Monday night 8-ball league. This young man here is just like Wayne. It's just a guy that enjoys playing me, wants to play me at any opportunity to basically measure himself to see how much better he may have gotten. And so therefore, when I do all these reviews, or when I review this match here, like I said, I'm more than willing to offer some type of advice as to what he does versus what I think he might have been able to do that would have been better, hopefully not worse. And that also he can just apply to future matches and just continue to improve his game from here. I do believe, though, he is now back up to a skill level 6. So good job on that, bud. But now, let's go through this match and let's see how things go. Start off with the lag here and see who wins the lag. Like I said, we are shooting the balls that we're using to one end of the rail, and whoever gets closest to the rail that we're shooting from is first to break. And as you can see, I'm going to be first to break. We'll just fast forward until I'm going to break. Okay, so I think at this point in time, I think I'm still doing my classic break at this point in time if you've watched my breaking an 8-ball rack 2 ways video. So I am going to be slightly cutting the head ball on my left side since I'm breaking on my left side of the table. I do have a little bit of bottom left spin, just like stun left spin. So that way I can hopefully try to hit this rack, pull my cue ball over to the side rail, and then hopefully pull it back to the center of the table. I do believe that's what I'm doing here. I don't think I'm doing a head-on break anymore at this point in time. And if I do everything successfully, and of course that the rack is as good as it can be, I'm hoping to either see that the 6 ball will go towards this side pocket. This 12 ball here can hopefully go towards this side pocket. The 14 ball may go over towards the left side pocket, and then the corner balls will go 4 rails around if they can dodge everything and hopefully go into their respective corner pockets. That's at least what I'm hoping is going to happen off of the break. 5 out of 15 balls, a 33% chance that I would be able to drop a ball, because these 5 balls are very predictable with a 8 ball break, especially when you're hitting the head ball as full as I'm going to. It's still a bit of a slight cut, but it's still a pretty full hit. Let's see how this works. Okay, so you can see my cue ball goes off to 1. Looks like I've made the 7 ball, and it looked like the 6 ball missed the side pocket. I don't think any of the 5 balls went where they were predicted to go, but I at least got the cue ball to behave. And so you can already see, since I know, whoops, there we go. Since I know I am solids, the first thing I did when I got my shooting cue was I looked at this area right here. This is going to be my troublesome area. If I don't figure out how to open up that cluster for my 3, my 5, and my 1 is kind of not in trouble. I at least have the ability to go in one side or the other. But this is really going to be an issue for me here. So I have to try to break them apart. And typically, when you can identify trouble spots, you need to try to deal with them as soon as possible. And so I'm pretty sure that's what I attempted to do here. And I think I started with this 6 ball. I shoot the 6 ball here into the corner pocket, and I try to get the cue ball to do something like this. If I'm successful at breaking this stuff out, and I don't try to smash this open because of this 8 ball, right? I don't want to accidentally knock in the 8 ball and end up losing the game. But if I at least gently open up the 13, the 3, and the 5, let's say, for example, I don't get position on either of them, well, then I'm hopefully going to have position on the 2 or the 4. That's why it's always good that when you do try to go after a cluster, that you have some backup shots, just in case things happen to go wrong. Or in my case, I think this is with some top left. In my case here, when I shot this shot, I missed the cluster. All right, so no matter what, I have to continue to try to go after the cluster unless I just come to a point where I realize that I can't hit the cluster, and therefore I'm going to end my turn by playing some sort of a defensive shot. So let's see. Am I going to go after the cluster again? It looks like I might be going after the cluster again with a little bit of bottom right spin. Well, that didn't work out. And even with the angle that I have on the 1 ball, I don't even think I would hit the cluster. Or maybe I will, but at this point, like, this is the hard part about what I just did, where I just basically took off two of my soldiers, two balls from my set, because now my backup shots start to dwindle. Let's see here. It looks like I have a little bit of top spin. I can't tell if I have right or left spin here, and I had neither. And you know what? I remember specifically. I was not supposed to make that ball. Let's go back and look at this. I specifically remember I was not trying to make this ball. What I was trying to do is shoot this ball and have it just hit the point, so that way it sits right here and blocks the pocket from these 2 stripes. I ended up just still cutting it just enough with enough momentum, and the ball happens to fall. Now, I think usually because I made it and I'm now at this point here, I'm like in do or die mode to where it almost does me no good to try to play safe because for me to play the best safe possible, I have to be able to put this two ball possibly right here near this side pocket. And like I said, the one ball's gone. And so you can see right there, I try to draw back. And look, like I'm still trying to break up that 3 and the 5. And since I basically failed to do it, now it's time for me to just end my turn. But if everybody knows that I've been playing a lot of straight pool, look what I'm about to do. I ended up scratching, but did y'all see what I tried to do? Seeing how the way the cluster was oriented, that I thought if I would have hit the 5 ball at the right angle, it would have caromed off of the stripe and then fell here into the side pocket. All right, so now I'm in a position that I do not want to be in. If my opponent can play smart enough, he can kind of piece this table apart on me and be able to win the game. Let's see, I think even the 2 ball is gone now after I just shot it. All right, so he takes out the 14. I believe this is the 12 ball here. So I'm curious as to what my opponent's going to do here. Is this a safety? I think he went for the combo. And it was actually okay to go for the combo, right? Because when you think about it, what the heck am I going to do here? I think that was still a good play. But I'm curious. My opponent has ball in hand at this point. Like, is there a way for my opponent to be able to solve the rack from here? That's what I'm always interested in whenever I have ball in hand, is to know whether or not if I can solve the table. So he attempted to do the combination. So the combination must be on, I would think. So if I have ball in hand and I can see that that combination is on, more times than not, I would not recommend using ball in hand to play a combination, but there's always an exception, and this might be one. Why not use the ball in hand to play the combination, make the 9 ball, and then even try to break up the 13 ball if you're going for the win? If you don't get a shot at the 13 ball, you have a shot at the 10, you have a shot at the 11. Both of these lead to these 2 balls here that he already started with, right? Because remember, this is a trouble spot. And since he has ball in hand, he has the opportunity to deal with that trouble spot as soon as possible, especially since he tried to go for a run out. Because I don't believe this was a safety that he tried to play. I do believe that it was a combo that he was going for, and then he was probably going to attempt to run the table from there. But considering that he did not disturb the 13 ball, it's kind of an offensive and defensive play at the same time. But if I were my opponent here and I had ball in hand and I wanted to go for the win, I think I probably would have started with the combination. But that's just me. Let's return back to where we were, which is right here. Now, at this point, there's like almost no reason for me to try to play safe with the way the balls are out in the open. I do believe I tried to carom my 3 ball off of the 13 to go into the side pocket, or do I do a bank shot? Bank shot, that's what it was. So because when we look, when I hit the 3 into the 13, I already know that this is where it's going to go. Right? So I'm kind of just hoping that the bank is just on if I can just make it happen. Since I can't carom, since I basically cannot carom this ball to go into the side pocket, since I already know it's going to go to the side rail, give it a little bit of extra oomph, and then try to get it to bank over here into the cross side pocket. That was pretty close. Pretty close. Maybe if I would have hit it a little bit softer, then the rebound angle off of the side rail would have been a little bit wider, and that might have made it go in. Not entirely sure. Okay, and with this layout here, it looks like my opponent's going to go for the 10 ball. And he goes for the 13. Should lead over to the 11, I would think. Yep. And I automatically hid the 13 ball like he was going to make it. All right, so here he is on the 11 ball. This should get him to the 15 ball automatically. Just gently draws it back. So I think my opponent's doing pretty good with this cue ball control here. 15 ball is naturally going to lead over to the 8 or to the 9 ball. All you have to do is just kind of roll it in. Ooh, he kind of. Ooh, I think you got a little fortunate there. Hit that with a bit much pace and really cheated the pocket to where he almost scratched. But this looks really good here. He should be able to just hit this with a little bit of top left spin. That way his cue ball just gets almost straight in with the 8 ball. Kind of like that. And just like that, my opponent takes the first game. In a race to 5-3, like my opponent's almost already halfway done. All right, so usually when I see the cue ball is way off to the side like this, it makes me think that my opponent's going to go for an 8 ball break. He's going to try to hit the ball that's in the second row and see if he can actually drop the 8 ball on the break. Oh, reset. Like I said, keeping up with all this stuff is gonna take some getting used to. Good spread and everything else, but an 8 ball break is or I should just call it a second ball break. A second ball break is notorious for clusters like this, unless you can hit with the correct amount of speed and the correct amount and contact that second ball correctly. The whole thing can just open up. Now let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like it's an open table. I don't know what fell. I don't see the 5 ball, and I don't see the 13 ball. My opponent just made the 7 ball. You can see how much more involved this stuff is. And so now I'm going to be stripes while my opponent's going to be solids. Looks like he's going for the 2 ball. Nice shot, and a smart shot because it opens up the side pocket here. Actually, I don't think the 4 ball can go into the side pocket now. Now he goes for the 1, just gently rolls it in. I always like it when I watch my opponents basically use like a nice soft stroke. Here comes a combination. Oh no, that was the 5 ball, and you can see right there, he's not happy about making that 6 ball. All right, look at this. And so actually it was the 3 ball that was gone on the break. I think that was just the 5. He's not happy. He didn't want that 6 ball to drop. Right? He just wants that 6 ball to knock in the 5 like this, so that way he can use the 6 ball to get position on his 4 ball. But since the 6 ball falls, now he doesn't have position. So he's going to have to try to make a legal hit, otherwise give me ball in hand. And with this cluster here, if I get ball in hand, chances are I'm just going to try to play some sort of safety. Let's see here. How would y'all possibly try to hit this? The first thing I'm thinking of is a 2-rail hit. And there is the 1-rail hit that you can see that my opponent is lining up for. He hits it. Okay, he wants the 4 ball to hit a rail, but he does not hit a rail, so therefore that is a foul. And I get ball in hand. All right, so I have a gigantic trouble spot here. I'm not going to attempt to run this table. So the only thing I can try to do here is slowly piece apart the cluster and protect the cue ball at the same time. So with a little bit of stun, I think all I try to do is just knock out my 14 ball, like so, and then hide the cue ball behind the 10. So it looks like my opponent quickly comes to the table, is going to try to do another one-rail kick, maybe a slight masse to go along with it. Unsuccessful at hitting the 4 ball. So now my trouble spot is less of a trouble spot, but I don't remember if I attempted to go for the run out here. Let's see here. You can see I come to the table and I at least study what I'm going to do first. I don't just make an impulsive decision. So does the 10 go into the side pocket? If the 10 goes in the side pocket, then that means I'm going to attempt a run out here. Because then basically everything's going to be open. I shoot the 10 into the side pocket, probably with a little bit of topspin since I'm so close to the rail. That's going to at least give me automatic position for the 15 ball, because I don't want to have to bridge over the 9 or the 12. So I'm pretty sure I try to roll the cue ball at least a little bit out in the open. Never mind, I do just stun it. Oh, never mind, I'm not playing the 15, I'm playing the 12. So there goes the 10 ball. Now I can play the 12, and I automatically have position on the 14 or the 15. Which, what would the rest of my pattern be? Thank you. The 11 ball is down. You can see, like I said, trying to keep up with all of this is going to be a little cumbersome. All right, so yeah, so a bit of a stun shot there for the 12 ball. That allows me to have position for the 15 ball. I have to think I'm doing the same thing. A little bit of either a little bit of draw, a little bit of stun, so that way I get position on the 14. Just like so. Actually, wait, this ball here. Now, I think here, what do I do here? Am I straight in? Yep, I must be straight in if I'm thinking about drawing the ball. Am I going to just try to draw back to get position on the 9? Yep. I was trying to get the cue ball right here, so that way I can shoot the 9 down here. I think here with just a rolling cue ball, I try to cut the 9 ball all the way down here to the bottom right corner pocket. But I undercut the ball. Not something I would want to do. You can see if I would have made it, I have the 8 ball here into the side pocket, so this is exactly what my opponent wants. All right, all he has to do is just make the 4 ball in the corner. The cue ball can just go up 1 rail to the short rail and come back down. Looks like he put a little bit of left spin on the cue ball, so that way he can come down here towards the side rail and get position for the 8 to go into the side. Obviously, he wants to hit it just a little bit harder to get right here. He doesn't want this back cut shot because that means the cue ball is going to be moving around. And you want to be able to hit this shot with some confidence. All right, so that way you don't have to worry about accidentally missing. But just like that, my opponent's on the hill. How many of y'all have been in this type of situation? Meaning that, you know, you're playing against a lower skill level opponent. They only need, like, you know, X number of games, and like this, like how many of y'all have been in this situation to where, like, you would almost just want to give up, right? Especially with the way things are currently going, right? Let's see what happens. Does my opponent put me away with an 8 ball break? See, the 5 ball fell. 8 ball moved. But it looks like that's all I saw was the 5 ball. Thanks, 9,000. I can assure you that my opponent here doesn't sandbag. It's just that at least in our APA league, he did fall from a 6 to a 5. And then, like I said, just recently, he's gone back up to a 6. Okay, there goes the 2 ball. Now, the only thing I can wonder about my opponent, and I say this all the time whenever I watch my opponents play, does my opponent have a plan for this 6 ball? Right? Because if he doesn't, doing what he's doing here is not really a good idea. What ball did he just make? The 2 ball? No, 2 ball's gone. Must have been the 7. So it's kind of good that he missed, right? Because he wants to have more balls on the table, so that way if I happen to miss, he's gonna hopefully have a shot if I do miss. Like I said, I've given the advice plenty of times that when you run the table, you have to make sure that you're going to finish the table. You don't want to just make balls just for the sake of making balls, because then when you get down to your last couple of balls and there's nothing you can do with them, if you're playing up against a smart opponent, they're going to make you chase after those last ball or last 2 balls, or even make you chase after the 8 ball. At least that's what a smart opponent should do. If you can identify that you're probably not going to be able to run the table, well then chances are you just kind of piece it apart 1 ball at a time until you're ready to finish the entire table. So while I'm at the table, I am trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. So the question becomes is, you saw me look at the 15 ball, do I cut it into the side pocket and try to open this stuff up, or do I cut this 12 ball and then come from behind to break this apart? Oh, I ran right into the cluster. Never mind. Now, at this point in time, if I do happen to identify that I can't do anything here, then I need to stop. And I need to allow my opponent to try to do something. And if he is successful, then that's going to be a loss that I'm willing to take. But if I attempt to go for a heroic shot and just screw things up and accidentally give the table to my opponent, well then it's really my own fault that I lost. And that's another thing that I've talked about before. I know there's been plenty of situations. Everybody must have experienced this in one shape or another. When you play some sort of a defensive shot, either your opponent skillfully or luckily gets out of it and then still manages to win the rack. Even though it sucks to lose, that should be a loss that you would be okay with. Now, in my case here, if I lose another rack, I lose the entire match. So that's something I really don't want to do. Oh my goodness, I attempt to back cut the 15 ball, and look how lucky I get with that position. That's just all luck. So I must have been I still must have been in aggressive mode, and I'm actually fortunate with the way this ends the way this ended, because now my opponent must go for the 3 ball. Now, if I can get the 9 ball out of the way, my 11 ball will help me open up the 13. Oh, holy cow, look at that. What a shot my opponent went for. And he got a fortunate leave out of this, right? What am I going to do? Do I attempt to play the combo? This ought to be interesting. Let's see here. Looks like just a rolling cue ball. Nope, that's a safety. Now the question is, can he see his 6? He can see his 6, and he's going to go for it. And then my 15 ball kind of makes this pocket a little bit bigger too. Look at that. Oh, the cue ball intercepted the 6 ball. And still, look at this. Another fortunate leave. Both him and I are getting lucky with where we're leaving the cue ball when we miss. Except my last shot at least was a purposeful safety. I'm referring to when I tried to cut this 15 ball into this pocket here, and I got a little fortunate with where the cue ball ended. Now what do I do? Do I play safe? Do I go aggressive? What am I doing here? Am I playing the 13 ball? Yep, I was. And look at that. Another lucky leap. I am actually behind the 8 ball. Because I was going for that 13 ball. Opponent makes a good hit. And then finally, cue ball's out in the open. So from here, I should be able to attack. Let's see here. 15 ball into the corner pocket. This looks like with a touch of top right spin as I come up towards the middle of the table. Now, do I shoot the combo? It doesn't look like it. Looks like I've got some left spin. I'm wondering if I'm going to come in between the 9 and 11. Yep. I don't really like where I ended. You see that? Where I kind of just threw my hand up in the air? I do not like where I ended up. What am I going to do now? Should be able to, with just some top spin, roll in between the 6 and the 8, hit the side rail, and then come out to the middle of the table here, and I'll have a shot at the 9 ball. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then I think here, I think I can just hit this with just a little bit of left spin, so that way if I make this 9 ball, cue ball can hit the rail and basically come back right where it's at. But no, never mind. I see I have bottom left. Am I going to come in between the 6 and the 8? I do. And see, in retrospect, I don't think I would have done that, right? Look how close I came to scratching, right? When I look at this shot now, in retrospect, y'all heard me say what my first call was. The idea I was thinking was to just play the 9 ball in here and just allow the cue ball to just naturally do what it's going to do and come right back at least somewhere in this area as long as I pass the 6 ball. Anywhere I land right here, as long as I don't come anywhere near the 1 ball, I'll have a shot to go here and for the 8 ball to go into the corner pocket. Playing what I did there, now that I remember and see that how I almost scratched, not the best of choices that I should have that I would have made there. But I do make it. I'll go ahead and just let it play again. That's just terrible. Look at that. I do make it. I have a shot at the 8 to go here into the corner pocket. You do. I was about to go grab my marker since I saw him mark his last 2 8 balls, but then he told me that I could call it, and so I made sure to let him know that all he has to do is call it for his next time he's on the 8. And it looks like I'm gonna try to draw the ball since it looks like the angle that I have to cut naturally leads me here to a scratch. And there we go. I'm finally on the board. Now, if anybody has followed me enough, y'all know that typically when I get on the hill, I try to go for an 8 ball break. But since my opponent is already on the hill, that's why I'm going for 8 ball breaks right now, just to see if I can try to catch up as quickly as possible. So I just saw the 4 ball drop. And again, look, nice little cluster, right? But I am solids. I don't really put a whole lot of power in when I do the second ball break as I try to make the 8 ball on the break. But sometimes you'll actually see me get a really decent spread. Sometimes. Like I said, most of the time, a second ball break is very notorious for having clusters like you see here. All right, so there you see there. All I did was just roll the cue ball, and that way I can hide the cue ball behind the 7 because I'm not going to attempt to break any of this stuff out. You see my opponent's like, what the heck am I supposed to do? So I can only hope that my opponent, comes into this stuff and kind of, as he's trying to make a legal hit, he opens the cluster up for me. Or at least manipulates the cluster enough to where at some point in time I might have a shot to where I can make my ball and manipulate the cluster at the same time. So let's see what he does. He's obviously looking for a legal hit. Looks like he's going to go 2 rails. Side rail, short rail. You see the pace that he put on that cue ball? Like that's too good, right? That's just too good. Makes a legal hit. Now, at the very least, what can I do, though? I can probably at least get 2 of my solids out. Then I got to worry about my 6-ball. So that looks like what I'm going to do. Am I going to try to protect the cue ball while I'm at it? I usually try to. Yeah, where was my cue ball going? I wanted my cue ball to come down here. So you can see, like, my stuff looks nice now. His stuff is kind of in a mess, and so is my 6-ball. All right, so let's see how we try to solve each of our problems here. This is an open ball here. All right, he does take it down. I kind of feel like, well, no, never mind. He's in good position. He's looking at the 15 ball to go into the side, but I don't know. If he wants to make that 9 ball, I would think that he should hit this with some bottom left and just open this up. Right? It helps me, of course, because it hopefully frees up my 6, but he's got to decide, does he want to win right now, or does he want to try to win later? But never mind. He ends up playing some sort of a safety. But do y'all see what I mean? I think I would have tried to make the 9 ball, and like if I want to go for the win, I'm going to play the 9 ball and then try to open up the cluster at the same time. So I think here I don't go for anything. I just try to play some sort of a defensive shot. Try to protect the cue ball. Especially since my opponent only needs 1 more game to win the match. Right? I can't afford to make grievous mistakes here. Okay, he banks the 13 ball towards the lower right corner pocket. Creates a bit of an issue here for me, but I can instantly solve it right now if I wanted to. Let's see, I believe that's 10 innings now. Oh, am I knocking my opponent's ball in? How many of y'all do this strategy? Yep, I take his ball away. How many of y'all do that strategy? Let's see. This looks like a combo. No, another safety. Except he doesn't want to do that, right? He doesn't want to create. He doesn't want to make the clusters that he has worse. All right. So as I try to figure out, basically try to put the racket into a nice solve state like that right there. You see what I'm doing? You can see where I wanted the cue ball to be, but also look that I've solved this issue here. I also have balls in position that allow me to deal with this, and even though I didn't get the safety that I wanted, which was hiding it behind the 7, look what I forced my opponent to do. Right? Who cares if he does this stuff when I've got these out in the open? This is why you want to try to keep as many balls on the table as you can when your opponent has clusters that they have to deal with. So am I finally going to go for a shot here? Looks like I have some top left spin. Yep, looks like I finally went for something. Try to spin the cue ball 2, maybe 3 rails to open up my stuff while I have the 2 ball and the 3 ball as a backup shot. I just missed. But can you imagine if these 3 balls were gone? Because I could have made them at one point in time, but if these 3 balls were gone and he played the defensive shot that he played, I wouldn't have a shot at any of these 3. So that's why I left these guys alone until I can figure out exactly what I'm going to do with my 6 ball. Now, this is a really good safety that my opponent plays. Ooh, what am I doing here? Am I going to try to masse my 2 ball in? Did I change my mind? I don't have to mass say it. Can I see the 6 ball? Look at that. Took another glance and made sure that I can see the 6 ball, and now look at my situation versus my opponent's situation. Right? My opponent has an issue here. I don't have so much of an issue now. My only concern is that I'm going to want to probably play the 8 ball down here into the lower left corner pocket. Ooh, is he going to go for the breakout here? Because he should. Top right spin. Yep, he went for it. Just didn't get it, though. All right, so this is the issue. Like, this puts me at the advantage. Usually to a lower skill level player, they'll sit there and want to say to themselves, look, I'm ahead. I only got 3 balls while my opponent still has, 5 or 6. What do I have? I have 6 in this case. Right? But if my opponent doesn't break this up, right? Say he makes this ball and doesn't break this up, he's going to give the table back to me. And at my skill level, I can either run the table or do what I've been doing and kind of manipulate the table until I'm ready to attack the table and then try to win the rack. And at this point, there's almost no place where my opponent can protect the cue ball with the angle that he has here, right? Because look how, I mean, I have balls everywhere, with the exception of a ball going here into this corner pocket, right? There's really no place that's safe to leave the cue ball, unless he can freeze it somewhere up against this cluster. He's really putting some thought into this. I like it. What's he gonna do here? Oh, is he going for it now? I don't think I would do this. Right? Because now what? If anything, he could have tried to block this pocket. I think that might have been maybe the best thing for him is to try to block the pocket. Did I cross off the wrong ball? That looks like the 12 and the 14. So the 14 ball is still on the table, and looks like these are gone. All right, so the 8 ball, I think, is freed with what he accidentally did there. So now, 2 ball in the corner. And all I did was just roll the cue ball with a touch of right spin to get position on the 3. And once I'm down here, almost any order that I run will leave me a shot on the 8 ball. But let's see what I do. What is this one here? That is a little bit of top right spin. Looks like I'm getting position on the 5 as the 3 ball goes down. This is probably the same thing. A rolling cue ball with a touch of right spin. Try to get the cue ball probably somewhere right here. Gives me position on the 1 ball. What am I doing here? Looks like bottom right. Am I going to get position on the 7 or the 6? Looks like I wanted the 7 ball, but I didn't hit it hard enough. Now look what I can do. Let's say I'm not comfortable with running this out, even though I am. I'm pretty sure I am. But look what I can do here. Let's pause the video. If you're in this situation here, you can obviously either go for it, or you can play some sort of defensive shot. And when you look at what my opponent has, where is the safest place I could leave the cue ball? Probably somewhere right around here, wouldn't you think? So that means I can just do this. I can just hit the 6, make the 6 go to the rail, come out like this, and then plant my cue ball to hit this rail and come out right here and play some sort of a defensive shot. My opponent would have to try to kick and hold the cue ball behind the 14 or behind the 8. Like if he hits the 14 good enough to where the 12 hits the rail and the cue ball kind of holds behind the 8, like that would be a good defensive shot. Or if he can skim the 12 and then the cue ball would hopefully hide behind the 14 ball, that would be another good shot. It would be ideal for him to kick this way to try to kick safe me versus trying to kick this way and go for something. That's if I wasn't feeling the run out. But I'm pretty sure I attacked the rack from here. I just don't remember if I shot the 6 or the 7. I kind of feel like it's the 6. All right, I'm thinking that this is what's going to happen here. Something like that. Oh, did I draw the lines perfectly? Oh, not perfectly. Pretty close though. Pretty darn close. I can say when I try to remember this stuff on the fly, double checking to make sure that the 8 ball does go, as I forget to make these balls disappear. 8 ball corner pocket with a stop shot. And we're tied 2-2, but my opponent's on the hill. All right, so since I had so many clusters on that last break, I go ahead and go for my classic break here. This is me going for break and runs. And did y'all see that 4 ball? Where's the 4 ball? The 4 ball's here in the corner. What did I say that the corner ball does? It goes 4 rails as long as it can dodge everything. And almost went into its respective corner pocket. But it looks like I broke dry. So, bit of an issue that we have here for both solids and stripes. If you were to look at the layout of this table, what do y'all like better? Solids or stripes? Looks like my opponent likes solids. I think I happen to agree with them. Now see, that one well, maybe I'm okay with that one. If he's going to shoot the 6 and try to open up the 2, I think I'm okay then. Yep, okay, that was a good shot. That was a good choice. I like it. Now he's got to figure out how to, well, maybe he doesn't have to free the 8. Maybe the 8 goes. This is looking good for him. Okay, good shot on the 4. He should have position on the 5. Nope, he's going to go for the 7. Gently rolls the 7 in. Nice shot. I don't know. I'm wondering. Well, maybe this is the better shot. Because I don't think you want to flirt with scratching in the corner pocket here. That leaves the 2, but you got to go for this. I don't think you go for the 2 ball. Okay, he is going for the 5. Right spin. 3 rails. Uh-oh. All right, that's a good shot, but yeah, you can see that's where he wanted the cue ball to be. In order to do that, he has to get the cue ball deep into this corner pocket here to try to get that position. Going from the 1 to the 2 might be a little difficult or a little tricky. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, look at that. Look at that. He had it. He had it. All he has to do is make this 2 ball come right here to the center of the table and then try to cut the 8 ball here into the corner pocket. That was well done. I don't think I would have changed anything with the exception of you saw my opponent didn't want the position that he got on the 1 ball, but it looks like he handled it just fine had he just put a little bit more pace behind the cue ball. Would have had his position here on the 2, and like I said, he'd have to get from the 2 to the center of the table so that way he can cut the 8 here into the corner pocket for the win. Let's see here. What the heck do I do with this? That is the question. Okay, it looks like I'm going for the 13 with some bottom left spin. I think I pulled that just a Maybe just a hair too much. I think I have position on the 11 and the 14. Looks like I'm going for the 11. I have to try to break up the cluster here. This is probably with a touch of top right spin to try to break up the cluster. Kind of, sort of. All right, still a little bit of an issue here. I might be able to run into them with the 10 ball, with the 14 ball as a backup. I just can't tell if the 10 ball passes by the 15. That looks like a stop shot. It is a stop shot. 10 balls down. Does that mean the 9 ball goes? That must be the reason why. I think I stepped off to the side because I'm waiting for the player on the table to our right of me to shoot. And yes, so the 9 ball must go. Looks like I'm drawing this ball back. So 12 ball in the corner, because I would like my 14 ball to be last here. Yeah, so that was with top left spin. That takes care of my 12 ball, except the cue ball should be right around here. You saw where I just kind of went, ugh, because I did not get the cue ball where I wanted, so now I probably have to come up with a different route. The idea would have been to be almost as straight as I could be on the 15 ball here to go into the side pocket. That way I can play just a stop shot on the 14 ball and play the 8 ball here into this corner pocket. But who remembers the thumbnail to the live stream? Because I'm starting to remember what happens on this rack here. I think here, so I take out the 14 ball. Cue ball's going to go down table and come back up. That looks like it was with top left spin. I didn't hit it hard enough. All right, if I had just got a little bit higher, then from here, I could have shot this ball in like this, and then possibly would have just pulled the cue ball back like this to shoot the 8. But look how thin I am now. Let's see here. All right, so what am I doing there? I'm looking to see how the 15 ball is going to travel, so that way I place the joint of my cue where the center of the ghost ball could be, so that way I can use the joint line to show me where the tangent line is going to be. And it looks like I've got some bottom right spin, because the tangent line looks like it would go right around here. And can y'all imagine that if the 8 ball would have just hit the rail and then bounced back up, I think I would have been okay. So if anybody paid attention to the thumbnail of the live stream, y'all should already know what's going to happen here. Because what would y'all try? Would you try to cut the 8 ball here into the corner pocket? Did you see me call this? Right, that 1 ball is deep into the corner pocket. So I'm going to try to bank the 8 ball through his 1 ball. Just like that. You can see I'm happy about it. Whew. I need 2 more. All right, so now it looks like we're trying another 8 ball break. Look at that. Look at this cluster that's starting to form. It's not as bad as the last one. all the balls kind of went this way and then tracked back over this way here and started to clutter up, but I didn't make a ball this time. Let's see here. Looks like my opponent likes solids. So he takes out the 3 ball. Now, solids in this case look pretty darn good. Actually, I mean, everything looks good now that he's made the 3 ball. Five in the corner pocket. Plays the 1 ball. Oh, he hit that with authority. 8 ball's nicely out in the open now. Hopefully he can access the cue ball here, because how do you get from the 7 down here? Whoops. Now, here's the interesting part. What do y'all say about that? Because I stopped my opponent. Because I'm basically asking, wait a minute. Should this be a foul? Now, I know for a fact that the rules say that if the cue ball, while it's moving, comes in contact with an accidentally moved ball, that is a foul. But in this case here, you see me go off to the, because I'm going to go ask somebody else this question. But in this case here, the cue ball does not come in contact with an accidental moved ball. So I see a lot of y'all are saying foul. Now, in BCA, there is the rule that when you observe an accidental moved ball, and we can see, like it's clear as day, we can see on this shot that the cue ball was going to run into the 9 ball, right? Like clear as day, we can see that. But because the ball gets out of the way, look, he's got the position, right? And I know he does. I know he didn't do this on purpose. That's an accident. But in BCA, it does say that you have to be able to figure out or determine if the cue ball is passing through where the accidental move ball was resting. That would be considered a foul. But remember, APA and BCA are not the same thing. So when I went and asked for another person's opinion, another 7 that remembers the rules better than I do, he said it was a foul. So when I came back to my opponent, I let him know that this person said it was a foul. But do we want to go to the rule book and verify if it's a foul or not? And at this point in time, we both agreed that it was a foul. And here's the kicker. Because watch, I'm going to come to the table. So right here, this is where I'm asking my opponent to be fair. I've asked somebody else for a third opinion. They said it was a foul. My opponent agrees. So therefore, I take ball in hand. So here's the kicker. Later on, as a matter of fact, it was just a couple of days ago, I run into my opponent at the local pool hall. He talked to the league operator. And the league operator said, because the cue ball did not come in contact with that accidental moved ball, it wouldn't be a foul in the APA. Technically speaking, based on that ruling from our own league operator, my opponent should still be shooting. Now, when me and my opponent were having this conversation, we both agreed that that rule right there is easily exploitable. Easily exploitable, right? Because how are you going to be able to determine whether or not if an accidental moved ball is a purposely moved ball? that's the dilemma that this particular scenario runs into. Just like Persistent Wolf Billiard says, unfortunately, in this situation, it actually would not be a foul. But, like I said, my opponent here, even though he went from a skill level 6 to a skill level 5 and then back up to a skill level 6, both him and I are knowledgeable enough to know that that particular scenario right there is just easily exploitable. And therefore, that rule should kind of be changed a little bit, right? And I would almost want to say, because you don't want to take APA and make APA all ball foul, right? Like just it's for amateurs. You know, BCA and APA are completely separate, but I would think this particular rule should be changed to kind of match BCA, because BCA is not all ball foul either, right? So at the very least, we should be able to determine that since we could see, everybody could see it, that the cue ball was going to come in contact with the 9 ball. And since it was accidentally moved, by that ruling alone, that should have been a foul. But like I said, with the way APA constructs its rules, this would not be a foul. And now we have to leave it up to an interpretation of, did he purposely move the 9 ball so that way he can get position, or did he accidentally move the 9 ball? That's pretty much a scenario that I would not want to argue with. And that's kind of why my opinion should be that that rule needs to be reworded. So that way, this situation, nobody gets into an argument about. Because I can see how this situation, there could be lots of arguments, lots of disagreements on whether or not if this should be a foul or not. Because then they could say, well, if you determined that he purposely moved the ball, all you could do is give him a sportsmanship warning. But that means he's still going to be shooting, or like the opponent would still be shooting, and therefore won the game, or could have won the game accidentally. Right? So it's a very interesting situation. But like I said, I got to give my respect to my opponent where respect is due, because he agrees with me. Like we all agree, like the entire layout of the table was changed due to an accidental movement, and my opponent had position. And he agrees with me that that should be a foul, even though by the rules, it would not be a foul and he would still be shooting. I leave it up to y'all to discuss that. I already see, people are talking about how, like, APA sucks, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to go down that route. Right? Like I said, there is a clear distinction of levels between APA players and most of the BCA players. APA is meant for your amateur players. Right? Amateurs that are trying to get better. Most of your APA players sometimes graduate and start playing more BCA related stuff, etc., etc. But when you come into situations like this, right, this is where dialogues need to happen, so that way we can hopefully kind of help make the APA better, right? Because if any APA rep happens to see this video and see this discussion here, they might want to consider updating the rules, so that way scenarios like this help avoid arguments. Like I said, since me and my opponent, we were cordial enough to have the discussion after I got a ruling from another person. I gave the option to my opponent saying, we can go with the third opinion ruling, or we can go to the rule book. Because technically speaking, if we would have gone to the rule book, he would still be shooting, because there's nowhere in the rules that says if the cue ball would have passed through an accidentally moved ball, it would be a foul. It explicitly states that if the cue ball comes in contact with an accidentally moved ball, that would be a foul. Right? So if we would have gone to the rule book, my opponent would still be shooting. But like I said, hats off to my opponent, because him and I both agree that this particular situation should be a foul. And I should have ball in hand, even though technically speaking, by APA rules, my opponent should still be shooting. Now, I have ball in hand with stripes. As I try to piece apart the table, what would y'all do here? What is y'all's order? You can see I'm going to start with the 15 ball. right? Because it looks like these 3 balls here possibly go here into this side pocket. What am I doing? Looks like am I doing a stop shot? Yeah, that's nothing more than a stop shot. The 15 ball's down. That means I'm going to shoot this ball here into this side pocket. I'm so close to the rail, I have top spin. That means the cue ball should be rolling forward. That was the 12 ball that goes down. That means I have a fairly straight shot on the 13 ball. Probably another stop shot. And it looks like I was trying to stun down to get position on the 10 ball. And when I see my, anytime I throw my hands up like that. So what am I doing here? What is that? That looks like a little bit of top spin. Am I spinning this cue ball? I am. That was top right. What ball did I just shoot at? Let's see, 9, 10, 11. So that was the 14 ball. And then when I look at the angle that I got on the 11, do I try to get position for the 9? It's like another stop shot. Stop shot, okay. Do I have at least an angle to where I can stun right here for the 10 ball? Looks like that's what I'm going to try. There we go. Now, what the... Oh, top spin. Does that mean I can go past the side pocket when I do this? Oh, I got past the 6 ball. So clearly I wanted to maybe hit that a little bit harder so I can be right here. Actually, should be that, I think. 8 ball down here into the corner pocket. Oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me, right? Oh man. This is not what I want to do. Now, this is actually a really cool scenario. So we've got another discussion that we can have here. Because what would y'all do if you're my opponent? You're on the hill. I'm 1 game from being on the hill. What do y'all do here? Do y'all attempt to go for it? Or do you play safe? What do y'all do here? See, he went for it. And of course, he's not happy that he knocked in the 8 ball. But he went for it. I happen to agree with my opponent. Like, when you look at this layout, right, what could he have done, right? He could have hit the 6 and hide the cue ball down here, right? But I can possibly kick that ball in. Like, so do you want to take the chance of me kicking the ball in, or do you go for the out? Right? And I honestly don't remember. I don't think there's a way for me to kick this way. Like, I don't think I can kick that way. Like, the safest place, if he could freeze the cue ball, like, actually, that's not even the right way to draw it. If he could freeze the cue ball like this, like, that would be a lock-up safety. Like, just a straight-up locked up safety and hiding me around the 2. I would have to try to figure out how to 2-rail kick the 8 ball in versus a 1-rail kick. Right? Now, I actually didn't like the spin that my opponent put on it, right? Because he tried to get really perfect on these 2 balls here. If anything, I probably would have just rolled it with some side spin, right? Because that would have caused the cue ball to do this. Because he did this. That caused him to scratch, right? Whoops. Eraser. There we go. Where just rolling it with some side spin would cause the cue ball to do this. Come more towards over here. And then he's golden. All right, so I don't know. Like, how many of y'all would play the safety? Or how many of y'all would go for it? I think me personally, if I'm in this situation, I'm going for it, right? Because I think if I remember correctly, both of these balls went into the corner pocket. The 4 ball does not block. The 4 ball does not block the 2. So I'm pretty sure, like, if I'm in his position, I'm going for it. But I definitely wouldn't want to try to flirt with the 8 ball and try to get perfect on these 2. I would just try to land somewhere over here, and I would do that with a rolling cue ball with a touch of left spin. I see Hasanova says cross-side. There's nothing wrong with that. It's my favorite shot to be able to do this, but that means you gotta turn the cue ball loose, right? I don't know if I'd be too comfortable turning the cue ball loose, let alone making my cue ball go up table and then try to come back down table to get position on the 4 ball. This is my favorite shot to do, a cut cross bank shot. But I think I would try to play the 6 ball just like how my opponent played it, but I would try to get position like this. And as far as I'm concerned, you do that with a rolling cue ball with a touch of left spin. Worst case scenario, he hits it too hard and it comes over here, and then he's forced to play some sort of safety by trying to, clip the 4 and hide it behind the 4 and the 2. Like, who knows? But I would have to agree with my opponent. He even asked me after the fact, and I was like, because we both came up with the same thing. Do we try to play a safety? Because he would have to play a lockup safety. If he leaves me anywhere for the 1-rail kick, of course I'm going for the 1-rail kick. He would just have to hope that I kick it in and scratch, or just obviously not miss. But I can at least do a kick to hit. I'm gonna hit the ball. I would just have to hopefully avoid scratching. And if I were to kick it in, I would have to make sure that I hit the side rail and then try to knock the ball in. But now we're hill to hill. Now, how many of y'all have been in this situation and then you blow it? Right? You work so hard to get hill to hill, and then you just end up blowing it. See right there, I think we're talking like, do I leave you the 1-rail kick? Like, that's the gamble that you have to take. I do remember telling them afterwards, like, no, I would have gone for it. I would have gone for it. There's a good break. What did I make? I see the 1 ball's gone. 2, 3. See the 4 ball's gone. And I'm being distracted. Let's see. 9 is here. I don't see the 10 ball. I have an open table, but I mean, look where the cue ball's at. It's more than likely I'm going to have to shoot the 6 ball and claim solids. But I don't like solids. Matter of fact, this is an open table, so we got to have another discussion here. Backward billiards, no, they don't open tables for APA or BCA. We do pay coins for these tables. This is an open table, and you can clearly see I am forced to shoot solids, but I don't like solids. I don't like solids because of this 3 ball. There is not a ball on the table. And the 2 ball, because there's not a ball on the table that I can use to deal with them. I can possibly shoot the 7 that's going to allow me to break up the 3, but what the heck am I going to do with the 2? Because if I remember correctly, the 2 did not squeeze pie the 11. That's why I don't like solids. So watch what I do here. I have an open table. This is not very often that I would do what you're about to see here. Watch what I try to do. As I gracefully take my time. So Grizz, you're asking me what is my opinion on low levels 3 and under doing a push shot? Do you call it or you let it go? I usually will. The answer is it depends, because what you're talking about is, say for example, if I saw a lower skill level player shoot at this 7 ball, right? If they attempt to shoot at the 7 ball with the leveled cue, if I can stop them quick enough, because I'm going to politely ask them to stop, and I want someone to come and watch the shot, because I cannot, the opponent cannot call the double hit foul. You have to call someone else to call the double hit foul. Look what I did. This is on purpose. The table is still open. What did I leave my opponent? As far as I was concerned, I didn't leave him a shot on stripes, but it turns out I did. I left him this ball here, or obviously this ball. I want my opponent to take solids because of what I've identified. That way, if I get stripes, or if he does take solids, I'm betting that I'm going to come back to the table. Like, this is difficult to deal with. But look what my opponent does. Because like I said, as far as I'm concerned, I can't even solve solids. Does my opponent take the bait and take solids from me? See that? I don't know if he's looking at the 3 or if he's looking at the 13. But based on what he does here, look what he tries. Backwards billiards, you got it right. He doesn't take the bait. He tries to go for solids. It's just unfortunate that he missed, right? Super smart move by my opponent. He did not take the bait. I wanted him to take solids. I left him a freebie shot on solids. He did not go for it. And when I saw him line up for the 13, that's why you saw me go over there. Now I'm looking at the 13 because I'm going to try to play the 15 so that way I can take stripes. Even though actually from here I possibly could have taken solids, except now what the heck do I do with the 3 ball? But now I have stripes. There are no issues with stripes, especially after I take this ball down. What ball did I just shoot at? That was the 13 ball. I see the 14. That must have been the 15 ball. Right? That is probably a rare occasion where when you have an open table that you would, even though there are balls that you can make, that in my case here, I assess that if I take the set that I can claim because it's there, I'm not going to run the table. So I purposely miss and try to set up a shot to where hopefully my opponent will take the bait and take the set that I want him to take, but he didn't fall for it. So that's a smart move on my opponent. He tried to take solids. Like I said, it was just unfortunate that he missed. And then he tried to take stripes, and it was unfortunate that he missed, and he left me an opportunity to claim stripes. So here it looks like I'm going to try to stun off of the 14 ball and run into the 5 ball so I can have position on the 12. How many of y'all would have gotten up when that guy stepped over to look and see what ball fell? Now, I think I didn't get the position that I wanted since I hit the left side of the 5 ball, so now I'm forced to shoot the 9 ball here. So my cue ball is going to go back and forth. I don't remember if I land over here or here. So I think here I just use a rolling cue ball with a touch of outside spin. Gently graze that 12 ball. I do go from side to side to get position here on the 12. That means the 8 ball should be going here into the upper right corner pocket. The question is do I 2-rail it, or do I just draw to the side rail? See right here, just me prepping to see where exactly I want the cue ball. So do I 2-rail it, or do I just draw it to the side rail? Just draw it to the side rail and back out. 8 ball here into the upper right corner pocket. Hopefully for the win. Boy, I'm taking my time. And I managed to take it down. I was down 2-0. And I managed to come back for the win. 5-2. I said, lots of up and downs to go there in that area. I think the match was 17 innings. Like I said, a whole lot of involvement that I was trying to do there. Do I have the right balls still on the table? 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I do. When you look at this area right here, as I'm trying to be a little bit more interactive with the screen there. But hopefully everybody was able to see some like interesting strategy decisions. I saw a couple of areas there where I think I could have done something different, and then hopefully my opponent saw some areas where I offered different suggestions. And a lot of his decisions I happen to agree with. Like I said, especially the area where he tried to go for his 6 ball and accidentally knocked in the 8 ball. That was an unfortunate loss. And like I said, this last little area here where I tried to bait my opponent into taking solids when even I assessed that running solids would have been very, very difficult. My opponent was smart enough to not take the bait. He tried to go for stripes. Just unfortunate that he missed and then left me an entire run out to win the match. All right. So now what we can do is just take a small little break here because I've got one more match that I'm going to review. What did y'all think as I get rid of these bots? There we go. Man, that that was an intense match for me to be able to come back and win. And you saw like there were moments where I should have lost. I would definitely have to say that yeah I was fortunate to win. We saw where my opponent barely missed that 1 ball when he tried to cut it into the upper right corner pocket and it just didn't fall. It was rolling clear there. It just didn't happen to fall. And then when I missed the 8 ball and then he accidentally knocked it in trying to go for the win. 2 instances there, as far as I'm concerned, where I should have lost. And then I would have to say that if my opponent made that stripe when he did not take the bait, when I was trying to trick him into going for solids, he didn't fall for it. Had he made that 11 ball, I mean, who knows? You saw the way he was shooting. He probably would have gotten out. He probably would have gotten out. And like I said, from him going from a 6 down to a 5, that's what made that match so much harder. But fortunately, I was able to take the win, and since then, as far as I know, he's gone back up to a 6. And then, like I said, there was that very interesting scenario where he accidentally moved a ball, and we all could see that the cue ball was going to hit the ball that he accidentally moved. But by APA rules, that wouldn't be a foul. And even though we all agreed that it was a foul, just remember in APA, that wouldn't be a foul. In BCA, it would be a foul because we can determine that the cue ball was passing through where the accidental moved ball was going to be, and it would have changed the outcome of the entire layout. But just remember, in APA, though, it's not a foul. And so they would just, like I said, APA would just have to see that segment there. I can probably just do a little clip, put it up on the APA Facebook page or something, and see what they think. Like, you know, is it going to be enough to make them change the rules? I mean, don't know unless I try, right? We'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. But I do have one more match for everybody to watch. Let's see here. But before I go to that match, I can certainly talk to everybody. I know there's been a couple of questions that have been scrolling by here. Let's see. Felix Romans, good to see you. Can you analyze whenever the match you had like 2 weeks ago where you unfortunately lost? You should have win that one, but you got a couple of bad position shots. I'm not entirely sure which match you're talking about. But I do have matches. I have reviewed matches before where I have lost. They're on my YouTube channel. Let's see. You're asking me what my Fargo rate is. I'm pretty sure it's gone down after my last performance at BCA State. No, surprisingly enough, it's actually gone up. I'm currently a 631, and my robustness is 1,533. I actually did not perform very well at BCA State. I thought my Fargo has been dropping. I was a 640 at one point, and then slowly but surely it's been dropping all the way down to 630. I think it did drop to 629 at one point. Went back up to 630 when I was at BCA State, but at BCA State, I thought my performance was poor enough where it would have just dropped back down, but it went up by another point. Buffalo 132, I'm in Texas. Craig, Shane Van Boning's Fargo rate is not 2,000. I think the Fargo rate actually only goes up to 1,000. And I can actually look and see here. Let's see here. Top player list. Let's see here. Do we want to look at the world? Yeah, top 100 world players. Joshua Filler, Fargo rate 836 with a robustness of 7,828. Shane Van Boning, Fargo rating of 830 with a robustness of 18,293. That's a lot of games. Like, that is a whole lot of games. Like, holy cow. Like, the only one that's remotely close to that is Dennis Okoye with a, I hope I'm saying his last name correctly, with a Fargo rate of 823 and a robustness of 11,551. Jason Shaw has a Fargo rate of 820 with a robustness of 11,116. And then even Niels Fine with a Fargo rate of 811 and a robustness of 10,753. These guys have played a lot of matches. Like, my goodness. Oh, Sky Woodward, a Fargo rate of 800 with a robustness of 10,273. Ralph Suke, Fargo 790 with a robustness of 11,986. Like, my goodness. Can't imagine having that many games recorded into the Fargo system. That is crazy. Let's see here. All right. Any more questions? Let's see here. Let's scroll up a bit and take a look around, because if not, then I'll just go ahead and start preparing for the next match. How long have I been streaming? An hour and a half. Yeah, the next match probably will take up another hour or so, I think. Let's see here. Just getting things prepped up. All right. Oh, we're asking some questions on what are the skill levels in APA. So yeah, so you have APA 8 ball, and the skill level range goes from 2 being the lowest and 7 being the highest. And then when you play APA 9 ball, the lowest you can be is the skill level 1, and the highest you can be is the skill level 9. Now, when you play APA like what you saw there, it is a team event. Like, so there were more matches that were just played. I just only happened to review mine. For everybody to see. All of the other matches that I do record for my teammates, I review them privately to help them get better. And sometimes the opponents will ask me if I could review from their perspective so that I can offer advice. Sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no, because it just depends on my free time. Now, you're saying, can you explain what the robustness means and how it's calculated? Is it just the amount of games the player has in their careers, or does it carry any weight on their actual Fargo rate? I do believe robustness basically just means how many games are logged into the Fargo rated system. And as an IT guy, I can basically tell you that the more games that are logged, then the more accurate the Fargo rate can actually be. But considering that the Fargo rate is a calculated number, that does leave room for sandbagging, just like how there's sandbagging in the APA. The APA skill level is a calculated number based on performance. So therefore, you can sandbag and kind of lower your skill level. You can do the same thing in the Fargo system. So it all just, I mean, of course, it's not designed that way. You kind of have to just go on the honor system to know that you're playing to your full potential, so that way your rating can be as accurate as it can be. But people do take advantage of the system sometimes. I have run into a few people from time to time. All right, let's see here. Oh wow, I have over 100 people in here. And I do see that I have 66 likes. I really do appreciate that. If you haven't done so already and you like what you've been seeing here, give this stream a thumbs up. It really does help me out in the YouTube algorithm. So hopefully more people can discover the live stream. They can possibly jump in here to see me review this last match that I have for the evening, or when the YouTube algorithm picks up this entire live stream and recommends it to people, so that way they can watch the recast and see all of the above. Because I will go through and timestamp everything, let you know where the first rack was, the second rack, match one, match two, etc., etc. That way it's a little bit easier to just jump around, and that way they can just like skip this portion right here where I'm just kind of just bantering and just taking up some time. Felix Stroman, duh, question. Is there something like sandbagging in the APA? Of course there is. Of course there is. There's no such thing as legally sandbagging, because sandbagging just basically means that you're not playing to your full potential. So therefore, the rank at which you are, or the skill level at which you're given, does not accurately represent the skill level at which you are. So since I'm the highest rank that you, or I'm the highest skill level that you could possibly be in the APA, I can't sandbag. Like I said, some people out there do take advantage of that system. It's just unfortunate. Sometimes they get caught and they get kicked out of the APA. Sometimes they don't get caught and they're able to like win tournaments that they shouldn't have won because they're not playing at the appropriate skill level that they should be. It's a known thing. Hopefully sooner or later it'll get fixed. Hopefully. I mean, one can hope. Felix Roman, I think I know the guy that you're talking about that made the sandbagging video, except he's doing a parody on Dr. Dave's video. I wish I could remember the YouTuber's name so I can give him a proper shout out, because those videos that he made were funny. Like, they were really funny, because he was jokingly showing how to sandbag in the APA, but and he was basically making a parody after the way Dr. Dave makes his videos. I have to find one now so I can give this guy a proper shout out, because like I said, I really enjoyed watching his videos. They were funny as can be. Let's see, where is it at? I'm gonna find it here sooner or later. Come on. Oh my gosh, the bots are in full force tonight, aren't they? There he is. Let's see here. Dr. Tyler. That's what he calls himself as opposed to Dr. Dave. That's amazing. All right. Let's see here. Here's his first video that he made. Like I said, I want to give this guy a proper shout out. So I'm going to put in the live chat his video. If you're on a computer, open up another tab. Don't leave the live stream. Or if you do leave the live, I mean, you can go. If you leave the live stream, please come back to the live stream. But be sure to be sure to check this guy out. This guy he's got a couple of them. Like, this isn't the only one that he has. They're really really funny, and there's truth. There is truth behind what he is showing. All right, so I think on that note, though, I'm not seeing really any more question. Oh, are you asking about? Are you asking about that? Now, you're asking about my tattoo? This is something I got way back in high school. This is just my astrological symbol, Sagittarius. But since I am a right-handed player, it also reminds me where to put my Q, right? Because that's where my Q would go, right? It's letting me know where to place my Q. But it's the Sagittarius astrological symbol of a bow and arrow. That's what the tattoo is. Let's see here. What are we talking about? All right. I don't really see anything. Looks like the bots are gone. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and review the next match so that way we can call it a night. I think bantered enough here. So let's switch back to this. There we go. And I have to fix my camera again. There we go. All right. So hopefully you can see that the race has been updated. This is a race to 5 because I'm playing up against another skill level 5. So this is one of the good things of me playing on Mondays now as well as Wednesdays is you get to see new opponents. So the guy that I played last, new opponent. Y'all haven't seen him yet. This guy that I'm playing, new opponent. You haven't seen him yet. All right, but this is another 7. This is another 7 that is just as good as I am. So this hopefully should be a good match. We hopefully should be able to see lots of different strategies. Unless, of course, we just happen to just break ungodly and just do a bunch of break and runs or something. We'll just have to wait and see. But let's see who's going to break first. You'll notice how much darker the table looks. I finally fixed the exposure on my camera so that way we won't see that bright white spot in the middle of the table. And it looks like I won the lag. So I'm trying to remember. There's a point in time where I changed my break again, so I think this is still the classic break. See if I can get that head ball to go into the side pocket as it got kicked away. Looks like it was going, but I did see a stripe drop. So I am stripes. And what stripe was it that dropped? Looks like maybe it was the 9 ball. So the strategies don't change just because the skill level of my opponent is harder. When I look at the layout of this table, I don't see how I can run it. Right? I have a shot. It looks like I can shoot the 14 ball into the side pocket. But see, when I shoot the 14 ball into the side pocket, then what do I do? Because I come to that conclusion, I think I just play safe here. Right? Just because I can make a ball doesn't mean I should make it unless I have a plan to figure out what I'm going to do as far as solving the table, or do I want to make this ball and then play safe? But remember, when you're playing 8 ball, it's not really a good idea to just remove balls off the table just because you can. See, so now I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do with this guy? Like, do I have to bank him into the bottom right corner pocket? This is how much thought that usually goes into what I do at the table. So I'm pretty sure that I decided to play some sort of safety here. What would y'all do here? So it looks like I'm shooting this shot here with some top spin since I'm so close to the rail. And as you can see, it's pretty much a safety, right? I could have shot the 14 ball, but the 14 ball didn't lead me to anything. So did not really think that it was going to be a good idea for me to shoot it. So I played some sort of a defensive shot. My stripes are a little bit more open now with the shot that I played, while my opponent has to figure out what to do with the 2 and the 6, the 1 and the 7. Let's see what he does. Okay, he plays the 7 ball. That was a good shot. Looking to see if the 6 passes by the 11 ball, I think. Clearly, he's got a shot here at the 4 ball or the 3 ball, but he certainly has to figure out what in the world is he going to do here. Now harder racks to solve equals more wasted chalk as we walk around and chalk, 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 chalk. You're not wrong. It looks like he was trying to make the 1 ball into the side pocket, but misses. So I get to come back to the table. Table's a little bit more open for me, but there's this issue right here. So I have to believe I'm playing this ball, though. I don't think I'm playing safe. Full ball into the side. I think I'm probably going to try to break out the 11 ball. As I create more of an issue. But at least my 11 ball's free. So I do have a shot on this 13 ball, though. I could try to cut it here into the upper right corner pocket. And I have to be careful as my cue ball comes up to the short rail if I'm going to attempt to get position on the 15 or attempt to break this stuff up. Okay, so I am going to shoot at the 13. I just don't know if I'm going to try to make it or not. Looks like I have a rolling cue ball. Do I have a touch of left spin on the ball? I do. Yeah, I tried to make it. I'm pretty sure I don't want to touch the 3 ball or the 4 ball. And look how much more of a mess I'm making here. I might have position on the 15 ball, but there's no reason for me to make the 15 ball, I think. Or maybe I don't have position on the 15 ball. Or no, I'm shooting the 11 ball so I can try to break this stuff open. Yeah, that's what that was. I just horribly missed it and made the cluster worse. So I really don't like that I have 1 ball out in the open while my opponent has 4 balls out in the open. He can use these 4 balls to open up the cluster. I can only use 1 ball to open up the cluster. So my objective is going to be to figure out how to get this open without making this ball, really, because I don't want to attempt to make this ball and break this up at the same time, because at that point I have to try to make sure I'm going to get position on one of these 3 stripes, which is a very slim chance. JC, I don't ask my opponents if I can record them. I do ask them if they're okay with me posting it on YouTube. We're in a public place. I don't have to ask permission to take photos or videos. But out of respect for my opponents, if they don't want to be on the internet, then I can ask them if they're okay with me editing them out of the video. Because I have 1 video, or actually I think I have 2 videos where I've done that. But otherwise, if they tell me that they're okay with it, then here we go. It looks like my opponent attempts to play a safety here. See, now he's put this 5 ball in a position where he can make it and break the cluster open. So I think here, see, all I'm trying to do is just gently move things apart. So that way I can hopefully have some sort of a shot. Now, I do give my opponent the opportunity to open the cluster up a little bit for himself. See, like he's looks like he's shooting at the 5. I'm surprised he doesn't clip the 6. Yeah, so he moves the 5. if we go back and look at this, I'm surprised that he just didn't. I mean, like it might have been uncomfortable, but if he can clip the 6, the cue ball's automatically going to hit the 5. The 6 does this, and both his 6 and his 5 would come out into the open. The 4 would still be stuck, but my 3 balls would still be stuck. I might, I'll have more access to them if he does move his 6. Like I might be able to open them up a little bit more, but he would at least have 2 balls out of the cluster versus the 1. So I don't know. It's kind of up in the air on whether or not he would want to do that or not. But clearly he doesn't. He only wanted to move his 5 ball out into the open. All right, so really, what can I do? The only thing I can do is the same thing I just did before. Try to just bump this ball a little bit closer. Because really, I want to, hit this ball, make the 11 ball come out a little bit more. That means the ball should carom onto the side rail and then park itself right in front of the side pocket. Like that would be the ideal position for me to get. But I also have to worry about clipping the 6 or the 4. It's almost like walking through a gauntlet. And see, the more I think about it, that's why I'm now looking at this guy. Like, did he put me in the position where I can't do what I'm wanting to do? I don't think I'm trying to make this, though, am I? Because that would not be smart. Yeah, yeah. So now, when y'all think about it, like, that's on purpose, right? Because now if I can get some sort of an angle where I can shoot this ball in, I can have the cue ball come off the short rail and try to spin over here to be able to open this cluster up. I don't believe the 10 caroms off of the 11. I think it caroms right into the point. That's why I didn't try what you're suggesting now. Now, especially since I went after the 15, that must have meant that there wasn't an opening for me to go through here and try that shot. So he makes the 3. He's got the 5 ball here that he can use. If he gets like some sort of an angle over here, he can shoot the 5 into the corner pocket and have the cue ball come into the cluster to open it up. You can see that's right there. That's what he's prepping for. Right? If these are things that you typically don't do yourself, like these are things that you might want to start adding to your pre-shot routine. Like me and my opponent are both concerned about this cluster and we're trying to figure out ways to solve it. And he sees a way to solve it using the 5 ball. I've created a way where I can possibly solve it with my 15 ball, but I also have to hope that my opponent gives me an angle that allows me to shoot that shot. Because if he doesn't give me the angle, then all I can do is just move the 15 around more. Right? And look what my opponent does. I did it. You saw me do it in the last match where I knocked my opponent's ball in. My opponent takes away my break ball. How strong is that? All right, so I have no choice but to just go ahead and go into the cluster, so I'm just going to gently open it up. I want to try to, I still need his solids to stay in there. Right? And I just gently move things around. Hey, Felix Roman, thank you so much for stopping by. You have yourself a good night. Rogers Random. Yes, I will be coming to the Waco monthly tournament. All right, back to the match. JC, you weren't expecting that? Neither was I, but it's a smart shot. It's a really smart shot. Right? My opponent right now has full control of the table. He's got 3 balls out in the open that he can use to manipulate that cluster when he's ready to. All right, look, he's not making that 1 ball. You can see how he's aiming. He's not going to make this 1 ball. All right, so what can I do? Gently push the cluster open again. How many of y'all would have just smacked the cluster open by this by this point? Like literally just smack it open and hope something drops. If I remember correctly, there was a point in time where I thought I saw something and I was like, oh gosh, this is like such a low percentage shot. And I think I almost went for it, but then I decided not to. Bow tie billiards, you would have just smashed the cluster open. Like that's a thing, right? I would try to maybe smash the cluster open. And see right there, I was actually trying to hide the cue ball inside the cluster if I can actually get it around my 11 ball. That way he doesn't have a shot at this. I think this is the 1 ball and this is the 5 ball. And that way, if I get ball in hand, I might be able to open the cluster up and protect the cue ball at the same time. But if I were to, just smash the cluster open, I would probably have to hope that 2 of his solids tie up at the very least, right? Make sure that he earns his run out, but that would be nothing but luck if I ended up doing something like that. All right, so this is a very patient game. Or at least this particular rack is a very patient rack. Like I said, there are just some people out there that would just lose their pace and just say, yeah, smash the stuff open and let's see what happens. All right, I'm more than certain he's not making this ball. Maybe I'm wrong. Nope, he went for it. He went for it, and he's setting up for the out at that point. But this works out. Like, what the heck am I gonna do here? Right? All I can do is still just try to just gently open up the cluster as best I can. Right? Do I have a combo? Maybe? Maybe I have a combo? I don't remember if the 4 ball is actually blocking my ball or not from the combo. But slowly but surely, right? Just trying to manipulate the cluster here and there. 14 ball is starting to become a little bit more accessible. Right? Cue ball control, sometimes you're not wrong on that, right? If he keeps leaving the cue ball where I have distance from my cluster, right? I have to be very, very careful how I hit that cluster because I can accidentally hit it too hard, and of course I can accidentally hit it too soft and commit a foul by if I hit any of my stripes and nothing hits a rail. Because once he has ball in hand, he's gonna smash the cluster open and then possibly run out. What's he doing here? What is he doing here? He clipping the 4 ball? Clips the 4 ball, avoids the scratch. Right? He got his 4 ball loose. Now his 6 ball is still tied up. And look, like now I'm starting to get to the point to where like I can't see my ball. You're asking me to do Dustin Dover. You're saying before I took the shot, couldn't I have done a kick and hit the 14 and hide the cue ball in the cluster? Of course, the answer is possibly. But I mean, like, ask yourself, even for me, I would have to ask myself is what are the odds of me doing that successfully and not fouling at the same time, right? Make sure something hits a rail, right? Because that's what you're seeing here. Like both me and my opponent, we're really trying to figure out the percentages. Are we always picking the best decision? I would probably say no, right? Because that's why I'm at least watching this and like, what could I have done differently to where like could I have solved the cluster sooner and not just sell out the rack to my opponent, right? Because when you think about it here, if I kick at the 14 now, if I were to kick 1 rail at the 14, I'm going to open up the 6 ball. Now I might hold the cue ball into this cluster, But that means all of his solids are now out in the open, and my 3 balls are still stuck. And I'm playing up against a skill level 7. Do I think that my opponent will be able to kick at his 4 ball or kick at his 1 ball? I mean, sure. He's possibly going to end up getting a hit, right? And then, but all of his solids are going to be out in the open, while my 3 stripes are still tied up. So, like, based on that, that's probably not a choice that I would want to take. This is the slowest rack I've ever had. Actually, it's not the slowest rack I've ever had. I've had other matches against other skill level 7s where we're literally just playing safe after safe after safe after safe. But all the while, at least I'm guarding his 6 ball. He has opportunities, right? It's just when does he feel comfortable? Right? As far as I'm concerned, he could shoot the 4 ball into the corner pocket, stun out here for the 5 ball, and use the 5 ball to break the cluster up, and has the 2 and the 1 as a backup. Right? There are opportunities, and he knows it. Like I spoke to him after the match. Like he knew there were opportunities. He just wasn't comfortable taking them. Right? So even right here, I have to hit the 11. The 11's going to hit the 14. The 14's going to hit the 6. But I don't want the 6 to be dislodged from the cluster. But all I'm trying to do here is make sure that I can get that 11 out. So like now the 11 is kind of a little bit more accessible, and I'm protecting that 6 ball. That's the only thing I can, in my position, that's the only thing I think I can do at this point. Unless somebody sees something else that I can do besides just cracking the cluster open. That's what I don't want to do. So and this was all, we go back like what? Six shots ago, if we are on 7 innings, we go back 6 shots ago where I tried to shoot a ball into this pocket here and open this cluster up. I missed the shot and made the cluster worse at the same time. That's basically what started this entire mess, was me missing a shot and going for the breakout at the same time. Dart guy call a read rack? Nope. The only time we can do a re-rack is if we basically trade ball in hand. Like, like I'm making legal hits, my opponent is making legal hits. The only time you can call for a re-rack or call a game a stalemate is when you just basically pick up the cue ball and give ball in hand. Your opponent gives it back to you and does neither player attempts to take a shot to change the layout of the table, and that ends up causing a stalemate to occur. Right? So look at this spot here. My opponent could shoot the 1 ball into the side pocket, get his cue ball to come over here, and then try to break out his 6 ball, and he's got the 4 ball and the 2 ball as backup shots in case something goes wrong, right? There are opportunities. These are probably opportunities that I think I would go for, but is my opponent comfortable? And that's always what you're going to have to ask yourself anytime that you come into situations like this. What are you comfortable doing? Because you certainly don't want to make a mistake, right? We've already seen some players in the live chat, right? They don't have this type of patience. Like they would have done smack the cluster open and just hope that the opponent doesn't run out, right? All we're doing, both me and my opponent, is we're waiting for each of us to make a mistake. Is he going to go for it? Shoots the 1 ball. I don't think this is the position that he wants on the 5. Ooh. Is he going to stick me on the 6 ball? Boy. Now, I can at least move my 10. Right, so now my 10 ball should finally be out of the cluster with this shot here. And boy, did I get lucky that I didn't scratch. So what do y'all do here? I almost feel like he can do the same exact safety that he did. Just kind of just push the cue ball right up to his 6, so that way he pushes my 2 stripes away from his 6 ball and hides the cue ball behind the 6 at the same time. I don't think he wants to move the 5 ball. Is he going to move the 5 ball? Looks like he's going to move the 5 ball. And look at that. All we're doing is making the cluster worse. 10 innings later, and we're still not done with the first rack. And actually, I forgot. I see only the 14, 11, and 10. That means the 12 is gone. 13 is gone, and the 15 is gone. And he's got the 2, 6, 5, and 4. 2, 6, 5, and 4. All right, so now we're good on the on this section here being correct. All right, so look at what we've done. All we've done is move the cluster. Because now we've got 3 clusters. We had 1 cluster, but now we've got 3. Is he about to knock in another one of my balls? Right? What do you do? What do you do? What do y'all do in this situation? Let's see here. What the heck did I do? I don't even remember at this point. 11 innings later. Does anybody have any idea why I did that? Even my opponent asked me, why did I do that after the match was done? Does anybody have any idea why I did that? I'm taking a huge risk by doing this. Logic kick, play dumb and try to bank the 11 ball into the 6 to make the 14. Why did I purposely foul and knock in that 5 ball while my opponent takes ball in hand and plays this type of safety? Right? It's a huge risk that I took. JCrazy7126, you have it correctly, because he couldn't use it as a breakout ball. Right? But my opponent is smart enough that he could do this, right? So I have to hope that I can hit my ball, and now I have to protect that 4 ball, right? So when we go back to this situation right here, if I try to kick at any of those balls and I do not make contact, he has ball in hand. What do you think my opponent's going to do with ball in hand? Shoot the 5 ball, or whatever. Like, the 5 ball is the best break ball right now to break out this 6 ball. Right? I don't know what he's gonna do with the 4 ball just yet, but like this, as far as I was concerned, this is a very powerful ball for my opponent. And that's the only reason why I took the risk of taking it away. He can certainly try to break out the 6 ball with the 2 ball, or do exactly what he did. Play a defensive shot and still hide the cue ball. Like, I don't know what else I could have possibly done in that scenario that would have been to my benefit, like literally at all. Like, because I don't see a single way for me to kick and hit the 14 ball. I don't see a single way for me to accurately kick, let alone hit the 11 ball. Like, I just can't see anything else that I could have possibly done. Could I have hit the 5 ball and placed it right here? Like, maybe. Like, I don't know. But, like, to me, like, just taking this ball off the table was the best decision that I could think of at the time. Right? So my opponent does this, and so now I have to try to kick and hit my hit either of my stripes. If I don't hit them now, then I probably lose. Logic kick, am I sure I can't see the 11 ball to bank and make the 14 by hitting the 6? I'm pretty sure that shot was not there. I like the way you think, though. All right, so basically at that point, you can see this is where my patience was worn thin. And even though, like, I still just couldn't see anything else that I could possibly do. All right, so I try to kick, failed to do it. So my opponent has ball in hand. All right, looks like the 4 ball goes into the side pocket. So if I had to guess, 4 in the side, 6 in the corner, 2 in this corner, 8 in this corner. Never mind. He's going to play the 4 up here. It's still going to be 4, 6, 2, 8. Had I hit my 11 at least, I might have been able to prolong the game. Maybe, maybe. But I would think this should end the rack. Good shot there. Never mind. It should be 6 in the corner, roll forward, 2 in the side, roll slightly forward, 8 in the corner. I don't think he's going to draw the ball to play the 2 down here into the corner. He's just going to roll it. I don't know why he's looking at that. Like, I don't think that would be the shot. You got to roll the cue ball to about right here because he's got an angle, right? So he's going to hit the cue ball's going to hit the side rail and just have it just roll right about here. Shoot the 2 in the side. You can play a stop shot or just, do a stun run through and replace the 2 ball. Yeah, kind of like that. I rolled it. I rolled a little too far, but it should still be manageable. And 12 innings later, the first rack is finally over. My goodness. All right, so what does my opponent do for a break? Oh, second ball break. Let's see how he does for a second ball break. Oh, look at that 8 ball. Now see, look at this. Right? This isn't really a clustered rack. Right? Like, it's everything's down, everything's at the foot end of the table. Nothing really made it to the head end of the table. But, you know, that's not really a clustered rack. Yeah, exactly. Loping CSF, half an hour battle for just that one rack. What ball did my opponent make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he stripes. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 balls gone. Tries to back cut the 15. Almost successful. Really good shot there. Nathan French, I think this is the 1 ball right here. Looks like the 14 ball is gone. So, what do I got here? Looks like I'm going after the 6 ball. Bit of a stun shot here, it looks like, as I bump into the 5. Or I didn't bump into the 5 ball enough. 6 ball is gone. What? R.A. Houdini, who pays for the table after each game? So whoever loses the lag pays for the first rack, and then it kind of just alternates after that. So that way the games are evenly split between the opponents. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure I wanted to like hit my 5 ball fuller than I did, so that way I can bump the stripe out away from the 5. I'm actually not sure what do I do at this point here. Logic kick. You're asking, isn't it like one or more defense shots take away the innings? That's basically what they do. In a nutshell, the way it was explained to me, like when you play a defensive shot, it kind of subtracts an inning because if you're playing defensively, it shows skill, and so the number of defensive shots kind of affect how your skill level or it affects your skill level going up. So you can see I played a safety there. Basically, I couldn't see anything else, so that's why I put the cue ball all the way down here. Doesn't look like my opponent really has a shot. I mean, he can obviously see the 11 ball, but I don't think he can play it anywhere. I think. J Crazy 7126. We do pay league fees as well. John B, you paid $2 a rack where you're at. Ours are only $1. $2. That's pretty stout. Let's see. Is my opponent trying to combo his 15 ball using his 13 ball? He is. What a shot! That grants him access to the 11 ball. I'd only be curious what he's going to do here with the 12. After he moves the 9 ball out of the way, he's checking to see if the 10 ball passes by the 7. But after he moves the 9 ball out of the way, the 12 ball will be able to go to this pocket. The 12 ball does go here into the side pocket, but he has to use the 9 to get that type of position. Eves, how do we lag if all the balls are down? Well, somebody obviously pays for it first. And so if the person that pays for the balls to come down wins the lag, then whoever lost the lag just gives the dollar back to that person. Right, so we're not sure if this 10 ball passes by the 7 to go here into the corner pocket because it looks like my opponent's going to go after the 9 ball. He's going to want the cue ball to come 2 rails around, maybe get position for the 10 in the side or have his 13 ball. Ooh, but he overcut the ball. Let's see here. I come to the table and it doesn't look like I have much. Let's see. What am I going to do here? Hmm. All right, am I doing what I think I'm going to do? Looks like I'm hitting the 7. I probably have a little bit of stun left if I'm doing what I think I'm going to do. Or if I remember. Yep. I was trying to make my opponent's ball. That's what I was trying to do. Bank the 7 into my opponent's ball. But I failed at doing that. Okay, opponent's looking to see if the 12 ball goes down here into the corner pocket. That must mean he's going to want to shoot this 9 ball, use the 13 ball to get this position here on the 12, use the 12 to get position on the 10, and then the 10 to get to the 8. Otherwise, shoot this 9, come to the middle of the table, which looks like he hit a little soft. Because that way you can just play a combination. So 9 balls gone. Now it looks like he's got a funny angle on this ball here because it looks like he has to cut this ball. That means his cue ball goes this way. He could still shoot the 13 ball and try to get position for the 12. All right, looks like that's what he's looking at. What would y'all do here? Okay, looks like he's going after the 10. Draws it back. Gets position on the 13. That means he's going to want to get position on the 12 to go into the bottom left. All right, just, try to get the cue ball to land basically where he's wanting right there. Logic kick, I think it would just depend. Most of the time, if you're just going to lag hit the cue ball into an object ball, you would more than likely want to do a rolling cue ball. So you would just have slight above center. You don't want to risk the cue ball skidding off course. So that's something I've been telling my players more often now, that when I tell them to hit the center of the cue ball, I actually tell them slightly above center, so that way they always have a rolling cue ball and not a skidding rolling cue ball. Now, but my players do know that, if the cue ball is only like a foot away or less than a foot away from the object ball and they want to do a stop shot, then they would hit the cue ball in the center because it's just going to slide right into the object ball and stop right on contact rather than just dribbling forward. What a shot there. 8 ball in the side pocket. Nicely done. My opponent takes a further lead, 2-0. Okay, he's going for a second ball break again. Doesn't look like he made anything, but look, another rather decent spread from a second ball break. Now I need to get something going here since I'm down 0-2. Did he make a ball? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, looks like the 6 ball's gone. And then 7, 8. Okay, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so he's solids. And I like that he's solids. Why? Because look at this area right here. My ball blocks this pocket from these 2 balls here. So if anything, if he wants to try to solve these 2, he probably has to try to shoot his 3 ball here into the corner pocket, get the cue ball to come off the short rail into these 2 and open them up. Possibly. And he's thinking about it. So that gesture makes me think he's looking at a 2-4 bank shot into the upper right corner pocket. Can he back cut the 5 ball? I mean, maybe, but this shot here just seems more natural. But he runs into my ball. Kind of jumpy too, because sometimes I'm like that too. I get a lot of comments usually like about my head movement, like my head might come up slightly before I shoot. He kind of jumps up, or at least he jumped up on that one. That was what? That was the 3 ball. So I'm actually glad he didn't disturb this. All right, so at this point, he has to decide, does he want to try to break it up with the 5, because that's the only ball he has left to try to do that, like you're asking about Jay Crazy, or is he going to play safe at this point? Let's see here. Nathan French, you're asking, so if you make both stripe and solid on the break, the table is open for you, but if it's just solids, you're solids. That is correct. If you only make one set on the break, then that's the set that you are. If you make at least one of each from the set, then the table is open and something has to be made after that. So what ball was that? The 5 ball? So this must be the 2-4 bank that I was talking about. All right, look at that. He went for it. I like it. He went for it. That's an aggressive play, and I like it. So I get to come to the table, and you saw the first thing I did was look at the 14 ball to see if it goes into the side pocket. R.A. Houdini, have I done a video on drag shots? I mentioned the drag shot in my bottom spin on the cue ball video. It's one of my older videos. And I do use it from time to time. All right, so it looks like I'm clearing this half of the table here since the rest of my work is going to be at this half of the table. I think that's the 10 ball that I'm shooting at. It looks like I might be just stunning the cue ball towards the middle of the table. So does that mean I'm going to shoot the 11 ball because the natural position from the 11 might lead me to the 14 ball? Rolling cue ball, possibly a twist of left spin, so that way I don't get hooked behind the 15 ball. Yeah, just like that. I think that gives me the perfect angle for the 14 ball to go into the side pocket, or I can cut it into the corner, but I do think I go to the side pocket. Automatic position on this ball here automatically gives me position on this ball. Does the 8 go in the bottom right? That's what I'm trying to remember. Because if that's the case, then I probably want to use this ball as my last ball. If that's the case, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna shoot at this one here. All right, what am I doing there? Rolling cue ball most likely. Yeah, that was just a rolling cue ball. And if I am going to shoot the 8 in the bottom right, that means I'm shooting this guy, and this guy is last. Let's see. These two are gone. I think that's the 12 and the 13 left. Yeah, at this point, Jay Crazy, I'm not sure if the 8 passes by. And so since I'm shooting the 13 ball, I have to believe the 8 ball. I'm going to attempt to go for the 8 ball here in the bottom right corner pocket. This is probably a stun shot. Yep. So here I would have to think maybe a little bit of stun right. And then, yeah, 8 in the bottom right corner pocket. Probably just another stun shot. Try to minimize the cue ball movement and maximize the run out potential, as Tony Robles would say. And I'm on the board! Finally. 1-2. So I'm going to go for a second ball break since my opponent's going for one. And I'm behind. And ta-da! All caught up. 2-2. You want to see that again? Now, I've seen this happen on more than one occasion. I've watched my 8-ball breaks a lot. Normally, like if you watch any video, and actually Dr. Dave recently did some amazing analysis on the 8-ball rack and how to get the 8-ball to go over here into this side pocket, so long as there's a gap between so long as there is a gap between these two balls here. That's usually what I'm expecting. But every time, almost every time, I see this 8-ball go over here, I notice one pattern. And that's this ball right here. Whatever ball is next to the corner ball. Watch what it does. Did y'all see it? I'll try to do it again in slow motion. Watch that 4-ball go to the short rail, come back, and then hit the 8-ball into the side pocket. I have seen that on more than one occasion. Almost every time I watch my 8-ball go into the side pocket to which I'm breaking from is because of that. If that doesn't occur, then that's when I usually see the 8-ball either go over here or go over here. But instantly, we're all tied up. There's actually quite a few matches that I still have on my channel where you can actually see that reaction, and I talk about that on more than one occasion. So if this happens again, whether or not if the 8-ball drops or not, let's just watch this ball right here. I think this is the 1 ball. It looks like he put the 2-ball up front. No, that's not that's the 1 ball right there. Whatever this ball is right here. Let's see if it does the same thing. See, kind of. It just didn't happen to hit the 8-ball this time. But I did still make a ball, right? What did I have? There's the 1 ball, the 2 ball, the 3 ball, 4. I don't see the 5, 6, 7, 8, so the 5's gone. And I don't see the 9, so the 9's gone. Looks like I have an open table. So 10, 11. And I don't see the 12 either. Rusty Shackleford. These are 3.5 by 7 foot tables. Looks like I'm going to try to claim stripes. That means I need to figure out quickly what I'm going to do here. So I take out the 11 ball. That looks like that was done with some top left spin. And if I had to guess, I would want to shoot the 12 ball and try to open this up at the same time. Which means I have to use my opponent's 1 ball. This is not ideal. I would want my cue ball to come over here. But I don't think there's a route that allows me to do that. Oh, wait. What am I doing? I just saw that I was putting bottom spin on the ball. And then maybe that's a lot of bottom spin. Am I going to try to draw into my 10 ball? Oh, what? I tried. I don't think I helped it at all. Now how do I get my 10 ball loose? 12 is still on the table. Easy fix. This looks like top left spin. I think I have to be trying to break out my 10 again. And I got it that time. Now the 10 ball can go into the side pocket. Looks like I have position on the 15. I don't think I have position on the 14. let's see. I would have to think. How would I play this? Stun off the 15 and play the 14? Or would I try to draw off the 15 over here to get position on my 10? What would I do? All right, there I am looking at the 14. If I stunned off the 15, I would have a shot at my 14. But then even if I did that, how do I get position on my 10? All right, so I think that's what I'm doing. I'm going to stun off of the 15 ball. Kind of like that. So the 15 ball's gone. So can I stun past the 7, hit the side rail, and then with right spin, pull it back over by the 8? Kind of like that. And then what? Do I try to kill this with a lot of left spin so I can shoot the 8 in the opposite side pocket? That's what I do. 8 ball break, break and run. All in the same match. All right, and I get to take the lead. Okay, let's watch this 3 ball. See it? See it? 3 ball pretty much did the same thing. 8 ball came over here, but it missed the side pocket. Why am I having left spin on the cue ball? But it looks like the 3 ball did the same exact thing. Now, I did see the 3 ball drop. What else dropped? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 8's gone. 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like the 13 is gone. I have an open table. All right, and look what I'm thinking about. I don't like solids or stripes, but if I take solids, I can try to play this 3 ball combination. I just have to make sure that the 5 ball gets out into the open when I shoot this shot. Now, I know when I make this combination, the 5 ball is going to drift its way over here, so I need to make sure it gets past the 14 ball. Oh, never mind. At least that ball got out of the way, but look what happens. I think the 14 ball gets in the way of the 7. So now I'm solids. Should be a draw shot here on the 5 ball. And I would have to think I was trying to draw back for the 1. Because the 7 ball goes here easier. It's easier for the 7 to go here. $13 is still up? I don't think so. This is the 9 ball right here. This is the 9 and the 11. Oh, the 7 passed it. Apparently, I don't like what I did there, but you would think I should be okay here. 2 ball into the corner pocket. 1 rail position for the 6. Right, this should be a rolling cue ball with a touch of left spin. Oh, but I rolled that too far. I want a stop shot. I don't want this, right? That's why you see me shake my head. This cue ball rolled too far. Looks like I'm going to try to draw off the 6. Yep, and I was supposed to draw into the 11 ball. I could still shoot the 1, but I mean, look what my cue ball does. If I would have drew into the 11 ball would have stopped my cue ball. I would have had a flatter hit on the 1 ball, and I could play the 8 ball here into the corner pocket, and that would have been 2 break and runs. Or it would have been another break and run that was done easier. Still currently working on this break and run. And here, I do try to gently play this 1 ball, which was a really dumb decision. Watch what happens. Look. I thought, if anything, I would have bumped into the 15 ball. If anything, I thought I was going to bump into the 15 ball. And that's me in retrospect saying, man, if I'd have just hit that just a little bit harder, my cue ball would be right here, and I'd have a shot. Right? No way in the world did I ever think that I was going to end up doing what I did there. And thread the needle between the 9 ball and the 15 ball. But you saw me call this pocket up here. So I have to do a 1 rail kick shot at the 8. Like this. To be able to go into the corner pocket. But I missed. And does anybody remember the last short that I posted? Because if you do, this should look a little familiar. If anybody remembers the last short that I posted, this should look a little familiar to everybody. As my opponent tries to figure out what to do here, like my opponent has the complete advantage of the table since I have to chase after that 8 ball. John B, you're saying that's a nice safe? I mean, my opponent can go for an out here, right? As long as he makes the 14 ball. He's got a fairly wired combo here. But he goes for a safety. And like I said, has anybody seen the latest short that I posted? Because this should look very familiar. Some of y'all, if y'all have already seen it, knows what happens here. And you see it in my thumbnail. The greatest, worst shot I've ever done. To my knowledge. I mean, I've got a lot of shots that that are quite amazing that I've done in my career. But this would have to be the greatest, worst shot. Can y'all see what I'm lining up? Anybody that hasn't seen the short that I'm talking about, do y'all see what I'm lining up? Watch what's about to happen. Because I've called this side pocket right here. I made it, but I scratched, which means I lose. And boy, did I shout some obscenities when that happened. I mean, everybody's laughing and having a good time, and actually a lot of people were like, "What happened?" Like, cause no, like unless you were around the table, nobody knew what happened. They just heard me hooting and hollering. I'm laughing my butt off. I'm obviously a little upset, but I'm also like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me! Like I nailed it. And then how does that happen? But I was very very colorful when that happened. Oh my gosh! And because of that mistake, we're now tied 3-3. When I could have been on the hill. Ah, that was such a brutal loss. That was such a brutal loss. Question now is does that affect the rest of the match? So it looks like I saw 2 solids drop. Looks like the 5 ball is gone. I have to wait for my opponent to move to see what the rest of them are. I see the 4, 7, and 6. It's an open table. 3 and the 1, so that means the 2 is gone. And I think the 9 is gone. So 10, 11, 12, 13, and the 14's gone. So what is that? My opponent made 4 balls on the break? Wow. Unless this is the 14. All right, I don't see the 9, 10, 11. This is either the 12 or the 14, 13, and 15. I think he made 4 balls on the break. Hey, Loping CSF, thank you so much for stopping by. You have yourself a good night. Oh, yeah, the 9 is on the table. It's in the middle of the table. 9, 10, 11. 12. It's this ball. This is the troublesome ball. I can't tell if this is the 12 or the 14 ball. So I think it's 4 balls on the break. All right, so he makes the 10, so he stripes. Made 3 on the break. Am I not just counting that right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Or was it just 3 on the... Okay, so it was just 3 on the break. Never mind. I can't count. I'm still overwhelmed at kicking the 8 ball in and scratching. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so we can see that my opponent's trying to figure out what he's going to do with this particular area right here. Looks like he's going to play safe, and he's going to make my 7 ball. Stop making my balls. Ah, he didn't make it, though. Haha! I get to use it. But I have to also figure out what the heck am I going to do with my 3 ball. Does the 12 pass the 1? I'm guessing it doesn't. That's why he didn't play it from the position that he was in. But I'm not entirely sure. See, ideally, I would want to shoot this 4 ball into the corner and try to break this up at the same time. That way I can use my 7 ball as an insurance shot. But this is a really thin cut shot. Like, I'm more than likely to miss this shot than anything else. Hey, Eric Croft, thank you so much for stopping by. You have yourself a good night. Looks like I'm shooting the 7. Am I drawing into this? I am. And I get a little fortunate there. 3 ball hits the point and goes in, so 7 ball down. Now I got to get back up here and deal with my 4 ball. That's the only part about this, so hopefully I can do that here with the 6 ball. Okay, got position there. Jay Crazy, I need a overhead angle. Overhead is the diamond light. All right, so I wouldn't actually be able to get an overhead viewpoint. Like this is usually the best viewpoint that I can get. Sometimes the table will be diagonal, all depending upon the tables that me and my team actually sit around. And sometimes there's a table that we play on where it'll just be a complete side angle. But usually this ends up being the best one. Usually. This has to be a top left spin cue ball here. Come off the side rail. And I don't think I got it. I think that died, and I'm gonna try to cut the 3 ball here into the side pocket. I don't think I got the position I wanted. This is like, in other words, this is thinner than I wanted. You can see I ended up undercutting the ball. Got my position on the 1 ball, but I needed my cue ball just to be like another couple of inches more to where I actually could have cut the ball in. It was just a little short on the position. I needed to hit that ball just a little bit harder. All right, so that was the 14 ball that was just pocketed, so that means the 12 is gone. When we look at the layout of the table here, if this 13 ball doesn't pass by my 1, it's going to want to go into the side, which means the 8 ball is going to go down here. If the 13 ball does pass by, then he could use almost any of these 3 stripes to get position on the 8 to go into the corner pocket. I'm guessing the 13 does pass by because that looks like what he's shooting. Good shot there. So I drew the cue ball towards the middle of the table. D Sudan, thank you so much on my congratulations for my Onboard sponsor. Like I said, do check the pinned comment for a discount code if you want to purchase any of their apparel. Good shot on the 15 ball. Excellent position on the 11. Where is he going to play the 9? He looks fairly straight. Does he have a 2-rail angle to land somewhere over here to play the 9 in the side? Because that would be ideal. I don't know. This looks like a full hit. Like the cue ball is going to hit the rail somewhere over here. He'd have to spin sharply over here to get straight in on the 9 ball to go into this side pocket. Lots of right spin, I would think. And maybe what he's trying. Yep, pretty much. Nicely done. Is it straight enough, though? This looks like the cue ball's going to drift down. Like over here. So does he have to shoot this, drift down, and come back up? Yeah, he doesn't like it. I think he has to move his cue ball on this one. Oh, never mind. He's looking like he's just going to hold the cue ball. He's going to hardly do any cue ball movement and just take a difficult cut shot on the 8 ball. So he's probably just going to roll this ball in. Cue ball's going to land somewhere right around here. Yep. And take a difficult cut shot on the 8 ball. That's a good decision. I like it. Hey, DC Dam, thank you so much for stopping by. Have yourself a good night. Oh, he overcut the ball. What the heck do I do in this position? Like, seriously, what the heck do I do in this position? What would y'all do here? Jay Crazy, you would pray. Let me see some suggestions, folks. What would y'all do in this position here? Cue ball control. Sometimes you're saying 3 rail towards the 8 and leave the cue opposite corner. Are you saying this? Something like that? Off of the 1? That's actually kind of creative, if that's actually possible. Jay Crazy, you're saying kick the 1 cross corner? I like that. I like that aggressive move. Right to know, push the 1 ball into the 8. I did think about doing that, but I was also worried about knocking in the 8 at the same time. Oh, shoot the 3 ball 3 rails around. I mean, I'm also risking the knocking in the 8. Safety kick the 3. I kind of like that. Y'all see what I tried here? I wanted the 3 ball to come out far enough, and the cue ball rolled a little too far, but I wanted the 3 ball basically to block the shot to the 8 ball. Safety kick on the 3, though. I kind of like that decision. But this is what I came up with at the time, and it just wasn't good enough. You can see he was able to kick the cue ball off the side rail and make the 8 ball. So now my opponent is on the hill. So I like all the suggestions, though. So it's a very, very difficult position to be in, though, considering that my opponent missed. All right, my opponent scratches on the break. So in APA, when you scratch on the break, you have cue ball in hand, but it has to be behind the head string, and you have to shoot at balls that are past the head string. Let's see here. What do y'all like, folks? Solids or stripes? Because it looks like I like solids. Looks like I'm lining up for the 1 ball. What am I doing? Is that a stun shot? Am I going to stop the cue ball? Or am I rolling the cue ball for the 3? Nope, that's a rolling cue ball for the 3. All right. So that definitely means that I have to use the 2 or the 6 to open up the 4. All right, because from the 3 ball, it should be a rolling cue ball with a touch of right spin. Well, that was top spin with right spin. That gives me position on the 7, 6, or the 2. But when you look at this, like, I have to be shooting at the 2 ball. And actually, I don't even know what happened. This is what I always have to worry about. So the 1 ball is gone. I see the 2. 3 ball is gone. The 4. 5 ball is gone. 6, 7, and the 8. And then I see the 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it looks like he broke dry. Or maybe he made a ball on the break and just because he scratched. So it looks like we're good here. So now I shoot the 2 ball in. Oh, never mind. That was the 6. I shot the 6 in and I broke the 4 up. But that was the idea. Like one of those solids has to be used in order to break up the 4 ball. Now I can shoot the 7. Bottom left spin. Pull back for the 2 ball, I think. Except maybe I pulled back just a little too far. Because if I shoot the 2 now, that means my cue ball goes up like this. And I have to control it through all this garbage here just to get position on the 4. This is actually an interesting shot that I remember doing here. Jay Crazy, you're asking why the 7? The idea was for me to shoot the 7, get position on the 2, but my cue ball is supposed to be right here. So that way I can shoot the 2 into the side pocket and just roll forward to here for the 4 in the corner, draw back for the 8 in the side. That was at least the intended plan, but since I poorly executed my cue ball and got on the bad side of the 2 ball, I can either still shoot the 2 ball like I'm talking about, but my cue ball goes this way, and I have to control it to make sure that I dodge all this to get position on the 4, or shoot the 4 with a completely different route. So I end up shooting the 4 ball, and I try to put just enough stun and a lot of right spin. Watch what happens here. I avoided the 9. Did not want to touch the 11 ball, because the 11 ball is what caused my cue ball to end up where it's at. Now watch this shot here. I was able to back cut the 2 ball into the side pocket, and I got super lucky that after I billiard off of my opponent's ball that I did make. What ball was that? Looks like it was the 14 ball. I now have position on the 8 to go into the corner. Stop shot so I don't lose control of the cue ball. And with my opponent scratched on the break, I'm able to get on the hill. It's now a hill match. So what is everybody's prediction, folks? Do I win this match or do I lose this match? So I hope everybody's been enjoying this as I've been able to try to break everything down. We saw that long first rack of just trading safety shots back and forth, back and forth. I got an 8 ball on the break, a break and run. Y'all saw me kick the 8 ball and kick it in off of a carom and scratch. You know, my opponent's been doing some really decent runouts. I really can't really disagree with any of the stuff. We saw at least in the first rack where there were some opportunities where he was able to attack the rack sooner than he did, but he was still able to take the rack down. Here's the final break of the match. Look at that 8 ball. But I scratch on the break. All right, so let's look at that ball that's in the 4th row. Look at the 14 ball. See, the 14 ball did the same exact thing. Goes up to the short rail, comes back, and kicks the 8 ball over to the side that I'm breaking from. After my opponent scratched on the break and I ran out, guess what I'm worried about? And what a coincidence, wouldn't you say? On the previous rack, my opponent scratched on the break and I was able to run out, get on the hill, Now on the hill, I scratch on the brake. So how poetic would it be if my opponent ran the table from here? Even though this is a really difficult table to run out. All right, we got this giant mess right here. What does everybody like, solids or stripes? When you look at that there, it looks like my opponent wants to take stripes. If he can make this 9 ball, he can break out the 12 ball from behind after coming off of the short rail, or just draw into the 4, which is going to move the 12. But if I was thinking about that, I would start with the 11 ball and follow forward to get that position, to try to do that as soon as possible. Let's see here. Jackson S., you like stripes? I happen to like stripes here also. There's not really a decent opener that you can do with solids. I mean, solids is basically all cluttered up here on the left side of the table. Right? There's no real decent opener, even with these 3 open solids right here. Like, you'd have to cut the 5 ball into the side pocket here. Craig, if I do believe at least the Fargo does have the top 100 USA players, as well as like the top European players. I think even Asia is counted. So there's the 11 ball, pretty much like what I was talking about. Try to get position up here as soon as possible, and see if you can deal with this issue here. So I'm guessing he got there. It's just, the hard part is what happens next, right? It's very difficult to guarantee what's going to happen next. Is he going to have a shot on the 14 ball? Is the 12 ball going to break out into the open? Looks like he's not going for it. Looks like he's shooting at the 10. All right, 10 in the side. That means he wants to deal with this 14 ball. Does anybody agree or disagree with this route he's taking? Okay, 14 ball down. Looks like he has position on the 15 ball. It looks like this is being saved for last, right? Because the 14 ball was kind of an issue ball, right? There was really no ball that leads to it, so he was able to deal with it. But he unfortunately leaves this at the same time. 15 ball down. Does he get position on the 9? Oh, I I remember what happens here. This is actually kind of humorous. This is kind of humorous what happens here. All right, so all of his insurance shots are gone, except, I mean, the 13 ball is at least out in the open. So, I mean, what are the odds of him shooting that 9 ball, breaking out the 12, and getting position on either the 12 or the 13 ball? All right, so what happens here is he calls a timeout, but he's not calling a timeout for a suggestion on what to do. This is what he told me because I asked him later. He literally just couldn't tell if he could knock the 9 in or would he graze the 12. So, the person that comes over, I believe she's a skill level 5. Younger than he is, younger eyes. He's basically asking her, can he make the 9 ball without touching the 12? And if I remember correctly, she tells him no, like you're going to hit the 12. That's the whole premise of this timeout, was basically to get a younger set of eyes to say like, hey, is this shot even possible? Oh, what does age do to us? Because he's even wondering like if he puts a boatload of left spin and tries to gear the 9 ball in. Like the whole idea is to make sure that he can avoid hitting the 12 ball first. That way he can cleanly knock the 9 ball in. Right, so you can see how much he's gonna try. He's trying to see how much he can also cheat the pocket. And now he's just not so sure. So we play a safety. So he does not run out from my scratch on the break. Now what the heck do I do? I have to solve this, and I have an opportunity to solve it right now. All right, I hit this with a boatload of left spin and top spin because I'm so close to the rail. Right, but I didn't solve it. Well, I pretty much made it worse. Now, it's possible that I could let him back to the table. It all really depends on how I leave him on this ball here, because this ball is a breaker ball for this 12 ball here. It just really depends. Looks like I'm shooting the 1 ball. Andrew Brooker, I like the idea of the safety, thinning the 1 ball and leaving the cue ball behind the 3 and the 5. But I can't tell where I'm hitting at on the cue ball. Might be a rolling cue ball. As I tried to go for the 1 ball into the corner pocket, and look how fortunate I got. So Andrew, they're like, there's your safety, kind of. I just got really lucky. So what do you do here? Do you 1 rail kick the 9 in? Oh, oh. Or do you kick combo? Do you kick combo the 9 in? All right, folks. What do y'all do in this position? This is kind of like the position my first opponent was in. Meaning, do I play safe or do I go for it? I'm so close to the rail, automatically have some topspin on the ball. As I play the 3 ball into the corner pocket. Adam Marr, you're saying 5 ball safety? So like just hit the 5 ball into the rail and draw back maybe? Logic kick, you're saying play safe on the 1 and leave the cue ball hidden behind the 5? I like all these options. It's not like there's anything wrong with these options. Because believe you me, they all crossed my mind. Inferno Blaze, you cannot call safety and make a ball. You can do that in BCA, but you can't do that in APA because APA is not call ball, call pocket. In APA, if a ball is legally pocketed, it's still your shot. Bang time pool, be offensive. Then I think you might like what I try to come up with here. Because y'all have to remember, my opponent almost kick comboed his 9 ball in. Now that 13 and 9 ball are so close to the pocket, I actually don't want to give my opponent the opportunity to kick again. That's why you see me do this. Or what I'm about to do. The English I have on the cue ball is the correct English that I'm going to put on the cue ball for this particular shot. Y'all see what I'm measuring up? The 12 can go into the upper right corner pocket, but like, how do you get positioned to shoot it there? Like I said, I do not want to give my opponent the opportunity to kick again, so I go into aggressive mode. I tried to break out the 4 and the 7. Unsuccessful. I did at least break out the 2 ball, and now the 2 ball allows me to go into the 4 and the 7. The question is, do I want to break it up, or do I just want to play position on the 7? Okay, a little bit of a breakout shot there. And if y'all thought me kicking in the 8 ball and scratching was bad, I think you're going to love this. Because here, the 9 ball obviously blocks the 7 ball. So I want to cut the 4 ball into the rail, bump into the 9, move it out of the way, have the 4 go in so that way the 7 can go in. So I have a little bit of right spin to try to get the cue ball to just go back and forth. How does that happen? My 4 ball doesn't touch his 9 ball. And even the billiard off of the 7, which I don't even want to touch the 7, doesn't knock it in. Andrew Brooker, I actually really like your suggestion. Seeing this here in retrospect, I actually think that's a really solid idea. And that is shoot the 7 ball into the 9 ball. I didn't think about it at the time. I just didn't think about it at the time. I'm going to sit there and play this over and over again because, like, how much of a heartbreaker is that shot? Like, how does the 4 ball not touch the 9 ball? And even after I billiard off the 7, how do I not touch the 9 ball? Like, both balls did not touch the 9 ball. And I end up scratching. That is ridiculous. But like I said, Andrew Brooker, I actually really like your suggestion of shooting the 7 into the 9. That way the 7 ball blocks the 13. Clearly, in retrospect, that is probably the shot that I should have taken. That is probably the shot that I should have taken. Exactly, Andrew. How does the 9 not move? I'm just as shocked. 12 ball down. Easy combo. Just roll it in. Play the 13 ball with some right spin. Eight ball, corner pocket. And so from kicking in the 8 ball and scratching, and that mistake right there, I end up losing the match 4-5. So, if anybody ever wonders, do I ever just show matches where I win? Of course not. Here's one that I've lost, and there's a couple of others that are on my YouTube channel where I've lost. It shows the human side of me to where, like, you get to see, like, the mistakes that I make and the mistakes that actually cost me racks here. I would have to say, really, the obviously me scratching the way that I did really killed the match. Like, I could have won that rack, but I would still have to say that the turning point of the entire match was when I kicked in that 8 ball and scratched. That basically changed the fate of the entire outcome. But you know what? This is pretty much how we learn, right? And like I said, Andrew, I really like your suggestion there. I wish I just would have seen it. Why is this not working? Oh, that's right, because I got to do this. There. I just really wish I would have seen that rather than being caught up in the moment as to, like, I could have gotten out, right? That, like, think about it. Like, I don't know how, like, if I would have set up that shot again, like, there's probably no way that I would just not touch the 9. Like, especially in the 2 occasions, even from billiarding off the 7, I would have thought that the 9 ball would have stopped me from scratching at the very least, but neither happened, right? But that's why it's always good for me to watch this stuff in retrospect, and then of course to see everybody's suggestions. And Andrew, I think you came up with the best one in that instance there, where that one simple decision of either not doing what I did, like if everything would have went according to plan, then I possibly could have won. But if I wanted to be a little on the conservative side, taking my 9 ball and not or what was it? Not my 9 ball, taking the 7 ball and knocking my opponent's ball in and blocking that pocket, knock the 9 ball in, blocking the pocket. That probably would have been the best option for me to play conservatively, prolong the match, and then see if I can just outmaneuver my opponent. Like I said, that's the best thing about me being able to review these matches, because they benefit me, and then when all of y'all, guys and gals alike, get to see the decisions that I make and get to see the decisions that my opponents make, hopefully it helps y'all. Of course, it helps me, and hopefully it helps my opponents. That's why I love doing these things, and that's why I always have to enjoy allowing my opponents, or for my opponents allowing me to take our matches and share them on YouTube for everybody to see, enjoy, and learn from. And then, of course, if I can offer any type of advice to my opponents, whether we win or lose, it does not matter. Just to give like just another option that like I see that my opponent doesn't see, or see options that my opponent sees that I don't see, or see things that y'all see that I don't see. Everybody gets to benefit from this. That's what I really love about doing this. All right, so that's pretty much going to wrap things up for the evening. I do have 2 more matches, but I'm not going to review them tonight. I'll probably review them either later this week. And then, like I said, I got to get back to doing my straight pull attempts. I'm sure everybody's anxious to see if I've improved or not, but I just not entirely sure when I'm going to do it. I did want to make a recorded video today, but I decided to do this so that way I can start catching up on reviewing my APA matches. So with all that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I see that I have 105 of y'all left and 93 likes. Y'all are absolutely amazing. I really do appreciate that. All I can pretty much say is stay tuned for some more pool league matches. Stay tuned for some straight pool. Stay tuned for some more content. And if y'all saw the last live stream when I did announce the winner of the break queue, y'all also know that I have plenty of products to review and give away in the future. So just stay tuned for all of that. Thanks everybody for being here, and have a good night.